Hello, welcome, come on down, sit down, get comfy. It's time. Semi-finals here after a week off. I am Formal. Joining me, it is Morgie. And I mean, look, we had the week off. Everyone had time to
Mhm.
relax, start training, start getting ready because now it's time for the matches that matter. Best of 7 series. This is do or die, win in advance. Get to play next week in the grand final, lose, and well, it's a third place match instead in a week's time. Morgie, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Formal. I feel like I'm looking forward to every week, but I feel like we've had quite a few weeks in a row in the regular season where every week mattered. Especially last week, or not last week, the week before last week, our last game week. We had a real toss up between who was going to end up in that fourth place position. Obviously, teams that are sitting at the top were sitting there fairly solidly, but there was a lot on the line. And going into this playoffs it's just getting more exciting for me.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's going to be really felt when we get into our first match where we're going to see, I guess, the plucky underdogs in QUT taking on the favorites of this entire event, the undefeated University of New South Wales. But before we get into that, how about a word from our sponsors?
Of course, Formal, none of this would be possible without our fantastic sponsors who make all of this a thing for all of the players. So, of course, we're greatly appreciative of everything that they do. First of all, we have AGON by AOC, the gaming monitor partner who provide the best in-class solutions for gaming and all other needs. And, of course, we have Indomie, the noodle partner, made with high-quality flour and select ingredients and spices. A plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today at your local grocer or, of course, at indomie.com.au.
Yeah, big thank you to both of them, and a big thank you to all of you for tuning in here today. Again, best of 7, semi-final day. Only one more week left after this, so let's take a look back before we get into it. Sort of how we got here, our final standings throughout the season. It was kind of a one-team show up top. The University of New South Wales, our first ever perfect season in the Elite Series, 7-0, only dropping 2 games along the way, Morgan.
Yes, well, that is a huge, huge feat. And to think that, like you just said, we've never had a team before that has had a complete clean sweep throughout the regular season is insane and is such a testament to how strong of a team UNSW are. We did have a couple of teams challenge them throughout the season. We did have some games lost, but not a series.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Only 2 individual games lost. All the other teams that are in the playoffs, though, it's from 4th up, QUT, Griffith, and UON. Pretty much if you had a winning record, you were good enough to advance. It did come down to the very end, though, for teams like UTS, like UCID. There was a chance. They had hopes, but they did come up that little bit short. So when we take a look at that and plug these teams into our final bracket to see how these semifinals will play out, number 1 versus the number 4 seed, that's our first match. And then immediately after, UON versus Griffith, and if there's going to be a match I'm keen to watch for today, I think it's more that second.
Yeah, I have to agree with you there, Formal. Just given UNSW's record, they are terrifying to come up against first up, and I am a little bit worried for QUT here. But that second game, UON and Griffith, it's really hard to place which team really solidly does sit in second and which does sit in third. I feel like it's a lot of back and forth. It does really come down to the day for both of those teams, so it could go either way.
And the kind of crazy thing is you could also throw QUT into that mix as well, and to a lesser extent even UTS back when they were here. It really felt like there was 4 teams really vying for that second, third, fourth spot, and the reward for the higher seed as well, you get to avoid New South Wales. Now also, it should be worth noted, as this is happening, we do have our open division matches being played, so we are going to finish the day off with our 3rd place match in the open division, and then next week we will be having our open division final as well.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that one as well, Paul, because obviously we haven't seen much of the Open Division on broadcast throughout the season. It's obviously all about the Elite Series, but in saying that, I think we may see some returning faces in that game.
Well, yeah, the thing is, all of the top 4 teams in the Open Division were the bottom 4 teams in the Elite Series, so it kind of worked out that way, but we are getting close to our first match here. New South Wales about to take on QUT. I kind of want to talk a little bit about the players in this matchup, who to look out for. Some pretty interesting names in this one. I mean, New South Wales, everyone was telling me Steve is done, he's washed, he's old, his ping is bad. I disagree. I feel like this is going to be a big series where Steve reminds us all how strong of a player he is.
I think we're going to see some of those Steve shots tonight, Formal.
Mm-hmm.
That is that what we were calling them? Is that what
Yep.
Tata was calling them? Diggs were calling them the Steve shot? That wild, out of nowhere, completely unexpected, does a random rotate in the air and somehow still manages to clip the ball with the very top corner of his car and send it straight into net over 3 defenders. I'm sure we'll expect plenty of those. And with teammates like Tata and Diggs, that is entirely possible.
On the other side for QUT, though, historically it's been the Jack and Mac show. However, in those last couple regular seasons games, Front really starting to come in on their own. That third member starting to look like the first member in a lot of ways. Was in peak form 2 weeks ago when it mattered most. Do we see another big clutch performance from him today?
Yeah, I definitely have to agree with you, Formal. In that final week in particular, Front really did step up. And I wouldn't say carry the team because, like I said, like you said, Mac and Jacko, they're a really good duo as well. And they're both really strong players. But Front was just hitting some insane doubles, some flip resets, just some really mechanical plays that this team was needing to succeed in the final weeks. And yeah, QUT really have stepped up.
Yeah, that said, they're going to have to step it up another level entirely, though. Again, we really can't understate how dominant the University of New South Wales has been. Again, when we say they've only dropped 2 individual games, those are 2 games. If in order for QUT to advance through this best of 7, they're going to have to double New South Wales losses in one game, in one night. Like, it's crazy.
It's a crazy ask. It's definitely a crazy thing to imagine, but we've seen crazier, I think, not just in the Elite Series, but in Rocket League in general. Strange things do happen.
Like Steve saving Tatagane's shot.
Off to a great start, Paul.
Look, we're not promising perfection here, but we are saying that New South Wales has been the best team up until this point. That said, it's a new day and a new series. Jacko gets the first goal.
First goal going against UNSW is not something we've seen too much throughout the season either for them. So I feel like QUT, they are a team that need to gain that momentum early on. We see teams with a really strong mental and see teams that give up. And I'm not saying QUT are a team that in the past have given up very easily. But having that momentum at the start of the game would really help, especially going up against UNSW.
I mean, I'll go so far as to say, though, the first goal should have gone to Katagane had Steve not been in the way, but it is how it kind of has played out in this one. A little bit awkward to start things off on the New South Wales side. QUT is going to happily take advantage of that. That said, a miss on the corner will open up the door. Katagane ties us.
Not just a miss, but after that demo, it seemed like both Jacko and who was that on the wall as well too? Jacko and Front, I think that was. Both kind of committing to going for that block rather than having one protect the net after the demo was kind of their downfall there.
Yeah, very awkward start, unfortunately, for both these teams. Not the cleanest beginning, but the good thing about a best of 7 is you can warm up into it. Tatagane will probably hit that double touch now on the next attempt. It's about getting the field, getting that playing speed down. A best of 7, a lot different than the best of 5, obviously. Not only are there more games, but it just changes the entire dynamic of the series, what you can and can't do.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You relax a little bit more towards the start of the series, which I think is what we're seeing right now. Like I said before, we're not seeing either team really play at their peak right now, and it could be due to that factor. You've got more game. If you lose the first one, that's okay. You've got a couple more that you can come back compared to the best of 5.
Especially if you're New South Wales and you should be coming in with all the confidence that you're probably going to take this series. Diggs goes ahead and scores a second goal for this side. It's more on QUT that really has to find a way to get into the mental of New South Wales. I don't think you upset a team as dominant as New South Wales has been in a best of 7 unless something starts to go wrong at a fundamental level on that blue side.
Oh, I don't know, Formal. Like I feel like when it comes to mental, UNSW is not a team I would say struggles with mental in their games. They're always just so cool, calm and collected, and it's because they're so dominant. It's because they're so comfortable in this league and they know that they haven't had too much challenge throughout the season, and that goes to show with their clean sweep that they were very comfortable. But coming into playoffs, it's a whole different ballgame. It's the pressure is on them to keep that clean sweep now and to retain it. Maybe they want to go through the entire finals as well and keeping the clean sweep. Maybe they want to not drop a game or not drop any series at all, and that's a really hard ask when you come into playoffs.
It can be a tough ask, but again, though, I think you did touch on it in the sense that, like, it's just so hard to get into this team's mental state because from top to bottom, this really is the most experienced team that we have in this top four, especially in playing on this kind of stage. Steve, a long-time RLCS veteran, Tadagane as well has had those top 8 performances there. Even Diggs might not have been a starter, you know, when Jules was part of this lineup and they kind of won the last iteration of the Elite Series. However, is still part of that winning team. They're the defending champs for a region, and that just makes it that much more difficult to throw them off their game unless something, again, has to really go wrong. But I just don't see that happening, at least not in game 1.
Absolutely, and they're just so smooth as well. They just gel together so well. Like, some of the we were always looking for passes down the offensive end. We're looking for some clean passes, some nice shots, but looking at some of their back passes as well, it just feels like particularly Tata and Steve just know where each other are all the time. Maybe they're changing their camera angles really well, really fast. They're just very smooth, and they're just, maybe the comms are great. I don't know. It's a combination of a lot of things, but they're just always reading each other really well.
Steve with the pop shot will be saved by front on the goal line. Still pressure just consistently coming from this New South Wales squad. Tadagane up to Steve, who's going to try to throw it back through the corner. Defenders miss. Tadagane gets a shot. It's a diving save from Jack, but I mean, you can just tell on that approach how much smoother and composed almost New South Wales is, whereas QUT was kind of flailing, diving, desperation touches on the ball, and that's not how you're going to win this series.
Yeah, absolutely, but you still, maybe I'm speaking too soon. After that goal, there was a bit of a third man push there. Mac coming up a little bit too high, maybe going for boost, I think, and leaving the net open. But for the majority of this game, you got to give credit to QUT for how well they have played in defense. They've had so many shots thrown at them, and they've had so many saves. Like, UNSW not giving them easy shots. There's top corner shots happening here, and QUT is still managing to defend themselves fairly well.
Yeah, that they have been, and now QUT in a good position. Look into next game and say, all right, we got one goal, but New South Wales is in the better position. New South Wales, very much, this is kind of the performance I was expecting to see from them. Late shot from Jacko did get behind Diggs. Isn't going to hit its mark. That's probably going to be enough now for game number 1 to go in New South Wales' favor as Tadagane nails the reset.
Yeah, this is not looking good for QUT formal. Look, I'm going to throw a statistic here before we finish this game, but there are 18 shots on UNSW's side compared to QUT's 3. QUT are really struggling in offense right now. UNSW already proving in this first game how dominant and how much of a threat they are when they have the ball down their end. QUT, I think, need to play a little bit more aggressive. They need to play faster, get the ball down UNSW's defense quicker to put them in a little bit more trouble.
We'll see if they'll get that chance, but for now, timer's gonna hit 0. Ball does hit the ground. I kind of felt like that was on the banking. Either way, New South Wales, a very confident showing would be the word how I would describe that first game. I mean, you brought up the shot differential. QUT, they just spent the entire match on the back.
Yeah, it's really tricky formal because I feel like this is nobody wanted to place 4th on the ladder. Nobody wanted to come up against UNSW first, and this shows exactly why. Like we touched on it before, this team is experienced. They've had players play in RLCS before. They've played plenty of tournaments outside of this as well, and they just know how to play under pressure. And I think that's really one of their strengths here.
Yeah, it is a strong showing to begin for the New South Wales side as we get ready to go into game number 2. QUT, still early days. A win here can get themselves back into the series, but I got to see more from them in the middle of the field. I got to see them flipping the map a lot more consistently. They're not going to win this series playing defense the entire time.
Yeah, absolutely. They are letting themselves get pushed back into defense a little bit too much and not focusing on creating their own plays. They're only focusing on trying to keep UNSW out. And like I said, there were 18 shots last game for me, and only 4 goals. They managed to defend a lot of goals and get a lot of saves. But that's not enough to win the match. Almost had a shot there as well, but Jacko on the backboard just managing to get a touch. The ball's gone loose as well. Tata with full boost, going to take a shot as well off the backboard, can't get the double.
Want to know something scary? Because we were talking before about New South Wales' record and how they've only dropped 2 games. The 2 games that they dropped were against, I believe, UTS and UCID. 2 teams that are not in these playoffs. They have been undefeated against every playoff team. Don't tell Front that, though. He'll get the first point.
I mean, I think, and again, from memory, Paul, this is off the top of the dome, but I think that one of those was when Steve was lagging. There was a pretty bad lag moment, and Steve dropped out of the game. We had to bring in Ozzy mid-series, but I think that game there, I think it was against UTS. I think that's one of the games they lost.
Oh
but
my!
I'm not sure about you, Sid, but Formal, I'm getting a bit distracted. I'm rambling. What a shot!
Oh my god, hey! What is that? Disgusting double touch. Is that a double touch? It kind of felt like one. I'm not too sure what I would call that. I'm going to call that a Steve shot, even though it was Ibaitano.
Actually, I tend to agree that was a Steve shot. My god, that was, I mean, it was a double, yeah, but it was just not your usual double, not your typical off the backboard clean double. I don't even know what to call that one. That was insane.
And though, this is the power of New South Wales. It's not only do they have the fundamentals, they've got the mechanics as well. Passing plays, why not? Let's show some team cohesion. Patience defense from Front, though, leads to a breakaway. QUD, they retake the lead.
I have to say it as well, good on Front for not panicking there or not just trying to take, like, of course it's playoffs, you're not going to risk anything, but just the sense to keep that ball in front of you and just slowly drive it into net knowing there are no defenders to come chase him up on that. Feels great, exactly what's needed right now.
Yeah, and it's good to see that coming from Front as well, who again, if we go back to week 7 of the season, Front was the one who kind of carried QUT through into this playoff position, and we have just been seeing Front get better and better since this team initially got into the Elite Series with this lineup. I always kind of circled Front as that player to look out for, was waiting for those breakout performances. Is the leading goal scorer right now for QUT in this semifinal, and we're going to have to see more from them if they're going to be able to bring it through. We'll see if they'll get more opportunities. With the lead right now, though, QUT, they can afford to play defensively. Oh, well, never mind.
Maybe not so defensively when you've got one just kind of after the front post in net. Jacko, oh, look, we talked about it before, Paul, but typically, especially in higher level games, if you're keeping an eye on the net, the best position for you to be in is back post, so you can drive towards the save and have a little bit of momentum going in it. But when you're sitting completely stagnant in net and you've got no momentum, it gives the attacker the option to shoot the shot left, shoot the shot right behind you. They have more options for their shot. So they've got to be really careful about parking it in net.
This is more what I want to see from QUT, though, because while Front kind of has been that patient defender and has been consistently for this side, as we've been seeing even in this series, normally when QUT won their games, it's been Matt and Jack just playing incredibly aggressive, either bump and demo hunting or just constantly challenging plays really far forward, is why I feel like sometimes they look kind of more awkward on defense as Diggs puts another one through.
Look at this snipe right up in the air from Diggs. Front just maybe jumping that one a little bit too preemptively, thinking that he was going to beat Diggs to the ball without having a third man in place to defend the net in time. But that was a massive shot from Diggs.
Yeah, for a brick, he flew pretty good.
We love the car choice.
There you go. Steve, bringing it back. Off the backboard shot on Tadagane makes it 4-2, and I just realized that that would arguably be a Boomer reference from before that reset. See that saving that Tadagane again, just par for the course. Crazy New South Wales Colts, but yeah, would Halo 3 be considered a Boomer game now?
Oh, Formal, don't say that. Don't say that.
Wait,
I grew up on Halo. Right. Don't say that's a Boomer game.
Well, that's unfortunate because the quote I came was from Halo 2, so it's even older. Here we go, though. 2 minutes left in this game. As we're going to see it clear up right now, Steve will collect. See if we're going to add to this one. To the corner we go. Second touch not there because it's a master takes and Maxie's.
I promise I'll keep this off-topic comment very short, but Formal. Best Halo game.
Depends what for.
If you don't say Reach, you're wrong.
Well, it depends what for. Best multiplayer, I'd say.
Yeah, fair enough,
Best
fair enough.
campaign? I would say
The original. Oh, 2! Really? AGON Halo Wars?
oh, that's StarCraft. Anyways, here we go. Minute 10 remaining in this one. Jacko down. Gets a nice little pitch, Steve. Black on Agane. Brings it back. Jacko again will get that clear. Actually, I'm sorry. Best story 2, best campaign for gameplay 3, and best multiplayer.
No, fair enough, fair comment, fair comment. He's now with a delayed flip going for the shot but can't get it past the front. He's managed to take it to the wall, looking for a pass to the center, gets a past one. Oh, Jacko gets demoed though, about to take the shot. Mac with the shot as well. Got a few shots coming out of QUT again, but just nothing quite sinking.
They're just unable to put that one through. Let's see what Mac can bring. Has no reset this time, but that's okay. Still 30 seconds remaining in this game. Dire straits right now for the QUT side here. A loss here would be their second in a row and really puts them at a pretty egregious disadvantage. Jacko underneath, shots on, but can't force it in. That's going to do it for our second game. And Morgie, let's give another goal over to New South Wales for good measure. That's Diggs with, I believe, their hat trick.
That was a hat trick, and what a shot to getting the shot off the quick reset. We don't see too many highly mechanical shots out of Diggs, I feel, but you know, we're comparing Diggs to Tata and Steve, who are both very mechanical players themselves, but we are starting to see more of those kind of shots out of Diggs, and I really like to see it. But the timer is going to go down, and the scoreline it's similar to last game for the last game was 4-2, wasn't it? So technically this game was actually more of a differential for UNSW, but this game felt a lot better for.
I mean, last game was 4-1.
Was it 4-1? Oh, my bad. Ignore. I thought they got 2 last game.
They only had 3 shots last game.
They did only. Yes. My bad.
So, hey, they had more shots this time. Got all the way up to 9. Unfortunately, not enough though to kind of overtake New South Wales, who are for the course. This team just looking in control. I will say this though. If New South Wales wants to go undefeated throughout this entire thing and continue at this comfy course, it would be easier if we get a little bit more involvement from Steve. I'm actually a little bit surprised to see Steve on the silent end, and Diggs is the player who's been stepping up.
Yeah, I tend to agree. Like, I feel like in past or even a lot of this season, Steve has been quite quiet. And in previous seasons, that's not what we've expected out of Steve. I would have said that we would expect Steve to MVP a team in previous seasons, but you are right. It is kind of looking like Tata usually is that star player of the team, and Diggs is kind of support now, and Steve's just hitting these wacky shots out of nowhere. Like, I don't know what to expect with Steve. I can read Tata and Diggs a lot better, and I can explain their gameplay better, but Steve's a bit of a wild card.
It's crazy too, though, like the improvement that we've seen from Diggs. I know that's been a reoccurring sort of thread as well, but with Steve not being as effective, Diggs has had to step up and has done so just pretty seamlessly, I would say. The hat trick, a bit of a testament to that. The resets coming through as well. Not something I'd expect to see from Diggs maybe at the start of last season, but now we're at that position where, yes, we expect that Merc to hit those shots. So great to see from Diggs, great to see from this New South Wales side. I'm looking at QUT right now. Somebody's got to step up. Let's put a couple goals in, but when are Mac and Jack going to get that aggressive edge back?
That shot there as well, looking like it was going to go top corner for Diggs, and Tata came out of nowhere to try and spike that in, but Mac takes a shot as well. Tata with the save, taking it back down QUT's end. The ball's gone loose though. We've got Diggs with possession, gonna take a shot, gets it past Mac, goes right around the side of Mac and just straight into net.
Diggs is playing the best we have seen from them, I dare say, and it's happening at such an interesting moment here in the semifinals. Taking this series over, Diggs right now, I think that's like, I think that's 3 in a row if you go back to the last game. Had the hat trick as well, but scored a little bit earlier. We'll see how many more goals Diggs is going to be able to get.
To be fair, I only noticed it in the replay, and I feel like I would need to go back later and check the replays for this one, but I feel like Mac got slightly bumped. I feel like Tata got the slightest little touch on Mac there, and I didn't see it initially, but Yeah, just the way this team plays, the synergy in defense, in offense. They're looking for bumps. They're looking for support plays for whoever's got the ball, and I think that's something that really separates them from a lot of other teams.
I like to remind people who are watching along as well about now our games are kind of more on a schedule. So our second semifinal is scheduled to start at 8 p.m. Sydney, Melbourne, 7 p.m. Brisbane. I don't care about the rest of Australia. So just be mindful of that. If the series continues at the pace that we're at right now, we might have some longer interviews for you.
Exactly. We can have a yap. We can have a little bit of a talk. See how uni's going. See how training's going. Usually when we ask about training, it's a bit of a I haven't put 2 hours into the game over the last 2 weeks, and they are still going off. But we'll have a bit of a chat.
I love this musty. This the slowest, most telegraphed musty right in front of the net. But why not? It buys the time to fake out both the defenders. 2-0 game right now. What was your favorite? Oh yeah, you said Reach. That's right.
Yeah, oh, absolutely, Reach. I feel like I sunk so many hours into that game. So many hours into, my brother and I used to play Firefight. Just for hours and hours and hours on end. The very final mission of the game, I was so gutted. Being a young kid, thought I could beat it. I played it over and over again so many times, was so disappointed that I could never beat it. I never quite get it.
Yeah, you get the secret cutscene. You survive long enough. Oh man. Well, right now I think a team that maybe is kind of hoping this could end a little bit faster as well. I don't know, QUT feeling like they're stuck on Reach at the moment. 2:10 remaining. Still looking for their first game win. Still looking for their first goal here in game number 3. Flunt's going to try to find a way around, but isn't able to connect.
I don't want to see QUT lose this. I don't want to see them get swept either, Formal. I want them to take at least a game. I want to see a reverse sweep. We've got the time. We've seen it before. We've seen plenty of reverse sweeps this season. Maybe not against UNSW. Maybe not when they're playing like this. Oh, I'm at a loss for words tonight. We've seen UNSW peak. We've seen Tata peak, but not like this. Not like this. This is a whole other level of Tata peaking tonight.
Yeah, Tata is just showing off the mechanical chops that we always knew that they kind of had. And again, it's concerning if you're coming here hoping for the QUT upset that it feels like New South Wales at this stage is just able to score on will when you're hitting, musties right in front of the net, double touches with the side roll setup. It's really been impressive what Tata has been able to do. And again, this is with Steve having kind of an invisible series. I'm not going to go so far to say that it's a 2v3, but it's just showing that this team, all 3 members, can be threats when the time calls on them, and it's what makes them so dangerous for all the teams in this top 4.
I mean, statistically speaking, Steve he's not, obviously it's not all about points, but Steve does have some statistics on the board in terms of assists and saves and a couple of shots as well. It just feels like all of the offensive pressure, it feels like maybe, I venture to say like 50% of the offensive pressure is coming from Tata, 30% is coming from Diggs, and 20% from Steve. But Steve's doing well more in the defensive.
All I'm saying is, in a football match, if one team puts no shots on goal, the goalie still gets paid for his showing up, right? Like, Steve has been playing third man until now. There's the Steve shot. Diggs steals it, though. And, well, fair enough then, I suppose.
I think Tata and Diggs are in their own VC right now, and they're like, hey, you know what would be real funny if we just didn't let Steve get any offensive points on the board. No goals, no nothing. But yeah, like we said, Steve has been doing well in offense. He would have scored that. That would have been an insane shot. But yeah, Diggs just came in with the steal right last split second.
Yeah, hey, sometimes it goes that way. And I mean, the more important thing, though, for New South Wales, they're getting their 3rd win in a row. There's Steve finally getting one on the board. 5-0 lead. Everybody putting on points. QUT, this could be the way their season comes to an end.
What a shame it would be, especially, we were talking about it earlier, but QUT have done so well to bring their season back. There were parts throughout the season where it wasn't looking so good for them. It was, even that final week, there was some pressure coming out of UTS and even USID to potentially steal QUT's spot in finals, but they played well, they managed to hold on to it. They absolutely deserve their spot here. And it's such a shame that they're coming up against UNSW first.
Yeah, this is how the tournament, though, has been laid out. And for QUT right now, back officially against the wall. Reverse sweep situation to stay alive in this event. Unfortunately, it was another 3-shot game, just like game 1 at the conclusion of game number 3. And against a team that is just oozing confidence out of their pores right now, New South Wales. I just don't know how you slow them down.
No, they just seem like a bit of a steam train right now for, and I feel like the first game we had QUT, they weren't playing great. We can openly admit it. 3 shots on the board total. They were just getting pressured all the way back into their net, and they couldn't do anything about it. The last couple of games they have played better. The scoreline's not reflecting it. But I think that game, not so much as the second, but the second game in particular, the scoreline didn't reflect it, but they were playing well. They were putting more pressure on. But UNSW, they don't miss their saves either. So it's really put QUT in a tough position where, you know, how do they defeat a team like this? Maybe they need to play more aggressively. Maybe we need to see more demos. Where are the demos? Where are the bumps? They need to play like UNSW is playing.
Well, I think the big thing too, and where this is most evidence, is again the shot count. That's the statistic where we saw the improvement from QUT. Game 2 putting up 9, which is, you know, more than both games 1 and 3 combined. That's what we need to see from this QUT side. We're not getting it out the gate, though. Here we go. Shots coming from Tadagane. Second touch pops it up. Diggs with boost. We'll get there for the double, but it's too slow. Jacko makes the save.
Jacko just making it to that save in time, but God, we saw a few whiffs out of, I think, both Front and Mac in the net there just before, which led to QUT being put in that really, really pressured defensive position. So they've got to be careful of their touches here because they're their own downfall right now. They're letting UNSW get close to the net.
I mean, they've pretty much been on the net for the entirety of this first minute of play. Diggs bumps in front out of the way. Here comes Steve again off the backboard down the roof. A pinch? No, it's a ground pinch instead. Steve makes it 1-0.
Steve said, no, hold on a sec. This is my game. I'm going to show off this game. What a ground pinch as well for it to go on the short side of Mac, to be on Mac's left in that tiny little gap. No worries about shooting right. We're going to expect the ball to go right. We're going to go left instead, and it goes straight into net.
And now it's a 1-0 lead. Fantastic start coming from this New South Wales side. Steve looking to throw it down back over to Diggs. Wants to go to the wall. You got 2 defenders underneath, and they'll look to go straight down the middle. Pre-jump from Mac, gets a bump. Jacko makes the save, but Tadagane stays on the play. It's a miss from Mac, and 2-0 for New South Wales.
This is what I mean by QUT just really not hitting their touches right now. Mac just a little bit too fast going into the jump there, and just let the ball kind of float over him.
2-0, not even a minute and a half into this game. And it's just, unfortunately for QUT, they've not been able to get, it feels like, any touches on the attacking half. They got 1 shot in there. Jacko has 1 recorded shot. I couldn't even tell you when that one would have happened, though. It just feels so dominant right now from the New South Wales side. Tadagane looking for the pass off the backboard. Yes, there is a shot underneath Diggs, though. Puts no power behind it. Mac gets the save.
And QUT are still caught in their defensive half. Jacko managed to take it to the wall, but just kind of floating again in his own half with the ball, giving UNSW all the room to come in and steal it off him. Steve with another shot on the board.
Yeah, as they'll find another one right there through the corner. Steve just splits the gap, puts it in. Looking very, very strong right now. This is a performance, this is a showing, this is an iteration of the University of New South Wales that you throw them in the grand final, Morgie, they could pour out there as well.
Yeah, I absolutely believe you, Paul. They're just playing so well, and I feel like this is probably I'd say arguably the best we've seen them play all season. And of course, this is the time you want to be playing at your best, of course.
Yeah.
They always play well, don't get me wrong, but this is just a whole other level of gameplay from this team.
And here we go, Tadagane, backboard setup. was kind of faking the reset double touch there. And again, I go back to what I mentioned back in game number 2. The 2 individual game losses we saw from New South Wales came from 2 teams that aren't even in the top 4. They swept all 3 of our other finalists, essentially, and it looks like they're poised to sweep QUT for a second time, this time in the best of 7. 2 minutes remaining, roughly, for the University of Queensland Technology. QUT kind of did that the wrong way around. Either way, maybe they can right the ship right when I write their name.
That is it exactly. Up front, all in defense again. Manages to take the ball up the wall, gets it over 1. Demos Tata. Steve having to rush back as fast as he can to get the save, but not fast enough. Front with the score in the end, and we've got QT on the board for the first time in a while.
Yeah, Front one who gets credit for it once again. I mean, Front's been the one who's been finding those goals. I mean, how much you want to give Front credit for that, how much you want to say it was on Steve would be up for debate, I'm sure, but unfortunately for the bludgers of QUT, the Mac and Jack connection just never came through for them. Never had that impact that they realistically would have wanted to have. Jack O'Coy for a reset, not going to find it. And that was kind of QUT's identity. It was their bread and butter, and when that got shut down, when they were forced to play defense this entire series, Morgie, QUT just comes out looking flat.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there. Like we have seen some potential out of QUT though. We have seen some shots like this looking good. The redirects, Front went for an insane redirect before as well, but unfortunately got blocked by Steve in the midfield. But this team, it's crazy for them because they have the potential, they have the skill set, they have the mechanics, but UNSW just shutting down every single attempt they're taking.
And what they don't have after this goal is time. Not anymore. Time, unfortunately, may have run out for QUT here. And while, yes, they are most likely now going to lose this series outright, I will say this. We still get to see them play in the third place match next week. So we do get to see one more game from them. They will be still out there, you know, going for that third place spot, the bronze medal, as it were. But when it comes for, you know, winning the Elite Series, the Miracle Upset Run, not going to be happening today. It will be a New South Wales victory. They continue their undefeated streak. They continue their perfection streak as well. Continue to not drop games. Front gets another goal. We still got 30 seconds left. Maybe? Maybe.
I mean, Paul, I was going to say, maybe you're talking a little bit too soon, but this would be the most insane comeback I've ever seen. Not that I've casted, the most insane comeback I've ever seen in my life. If QT managed to get this game back their way, if they managed to take a game out of UNSW right now, the time is ticking down. We've got Front taking the ball up the other end. Jacko misses the shot. That could have been it, Formal.
It's been just under 2 months since we last saw New South Wales drop a game. And it's not going to happen today. We are going to pass the 2-month mark. Almost an insane goal to kind of cap this series off and away. Instead, we'll let that timer tick right on down to 0. Ball stays up, but it does not matter. New South Wales advance to the grand final.
Not only do they advance, Formal, but they probably have the most insane, like so many insane highlight clips out of that game. That was incredible gameplay from all 3 players, even Steve towards the end of the series. We were saying he was quiet at the start, but Steve really picked up towards the end. I'm not even going to start talking about Diggs and Tata as well. Some of those shots were crazy, but unfortunately for QUT, that means that series is that loss for them. It's just such a shame that they had to come up against UNSW first.
Yeah, that said, though, I mean, you always have the feeling that these best teams save a little bit more as well for that playoff, some of that extra juice. And it did come out in this one, so definitely hats off to that trio. We're going to be looking to get an interview soon with a member of the University of New South Wales. I believe Tadagani will be joining us shortly. But before we get into that, while we look to piece them together, I have to ask, like, coaching hat right now, if you are, you know, UON or if you are Griffith and maybe you are watching this, did you see a weakness at all? Did you see a way that you could possibly take down New South Wales?
I feel like it'd be really hard to spot any weakness given the way they were just playing. But I feel like both of those teams, if I were either of those teams, I would be saving down those replays some way and I would be nitpicking through them second by second, watching every single touch and trying to analyze it. But that's tricky for.
It is very tricky, and normally I would ask the person who we're about to speak to what their weakness is, but something tells me I don't think they would give us a real answer. Joining us now is Tadagane. First of all, congratulations, man. Made it through back-to-back finals. Undefeated season continues. That win, though, felt pretty par for the course for you guys. You felt in control the entire way, no?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, thanks a lot, by the way, first of all. And yeah, I think that was definitely one of our best performances, maybe in the whole season, or maybe the whole time I've been in the team. So, yeah, happy with that.
Absolutely. Congratulations. And yeah, definitely something we were commenting on is you guys never you never disappoint. I'll go ahead and say that. But that series was incredible. Some of the shots you were hitting, all three of you, your shots, your touches, your saves, were it's just probably, I agree, the best we've seen you play all season. Please tell me that you guys have been putting hours into the game for the last 2 weeks. Because if you haven't, I give up. I'm not playing anymore. I don't know how to explain that.
Um, I, I think maybe like a little more than normal. So that's something. At least for me,
Okay.
definitely. I think for me, definitely. Like the last few weeks of the regular season, I was definitely not playing as much, and then I've definitely played a bit more for this, and I think same with Steve and Dick. So yeah, I think definitely a bit more.
So there's two goals I kind of want to walk back with you to kind of go through the thought process. The first one was more your goal. That weird double touch slide thing you did off the backboard early in this series. Is there a name for that one, or is that another Steve shot? And how much of that one was planned?
Yeah, I mean, when I scored that, I made it immediately had like a big reaction to that than the flipper set I hit because like that was like I don't know, I just it was sort of like a feeling type of goal. I was sort of just like letting my car, like letting my hands do the work. I don't know. I was like, damn, that was kind of sick. But yeah, I don't know. There's no name for it. There's no name for it.
I think we'll just chalk that one up to a Steve goal again, even though you're
Yeah.
the one who hit it. And the second one I wanted to bring up was actually Diggs hitting a reset goal. Not something we've typically seen from Diggs in the past. Is that something he's been hiding this entire time that you knew about, or did that one catch you guys kind of a bit off guard as well?
Nah, that's a normal digs. I think yeah, maybe he hasn't showed it off, but yeah, he's a very good player, and I think it's his like this is his last season, so I think he's just heating up for the finals for his last ever final. It's showing up that he's one of the best.
Oh, we love to see it. Diggs has definitely come a long way as a player. Like we know what to expect out of you and Steve, but Diggs has come a long way and has been a really core part of this team. One of the questions I have is kind of I guess on your mental as a team. I know you guys are usually so calm and so chill and so relaxed. Were there any nerves coming into the playoffs?
I don't think so. Just because we played QT and it was pretty like I think we played pretty bad when we played them the first time, and we still won. I think kinda easily. So there was not many nerves. I think maybe next week we'll have a bit more, and I think nerves are good there. Maybe we'll play even better under the pressure. But yeah,
Speaking of next week, which matchup are you hoping to go up against? Who do you feel you match up better in terms of Griffith or the University of Newcastle?
that's a good question. I think Griffith has really good defense. But like you is UAN right? The other team, Eminence.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think their offense is definitely very good. Eminence is a very good player. So I don't know. I think either match will be fun. Honestly, hopefully it's intense and it will be a good series.
All right, well, we'll look forward to seeing you play then. Again, one last time, congratulations on making it to that grand final. That was Tadagane joining us. Diggs' last season, Morgie. That's a fun little tidbit of information. They're going to be hoping to get Diggs across the finish line, hoping to help them finish off their AEL Elite Series in style. But for us, we still need to figure out their opponent. We're going to be taking a break. When we come back, a potential interview with QUT and then our second semi-final matchup. So stay with us. We'll be back with more Rocket League action here at the AEL. Welcome back, everybody. Thanks for sticking with us and joining us now. Coming hot off of an unfortunate defeat, we have Mac from QUT. Condolences on the loss. However, season's not done. You still have your third place match. Where are you at mentally right now after that series?
I'm chilling. Honestly, we let them win because if we beat them, then it'd be a massive upset and really humble. So
The right thing to do. The right thing, the nice thing to do. They swept the entire season. You gotta let them have it at this point. No,
Exactly.
Honestly, we were really rooting for you guys in that series. You guys have played really well throughout the season, especially towards the end of the season. Paul and I were talking about it at the start of the series. Front in particular really stepped up, I think, towards the end of the series. You and Jacko are usually quite the strong duo anyway, so all three of you are a really strong team. I guess the thing I'm wanting to ask is going into that third place match. Obviously, UNSW, that's a really tricky team to come up against, especially first up. Out of the other two, out of UON and Griffith, if you had a choice of who to play, who would you be looking to?
that's a tough question because I know that now that UON has evidence, their squad is a lot stronger. But I think I'd like to verse Griffith because I don't know, it's always been pretty close against them in the past. And I don't know, it's like one of those games that I look forward to the most. So probably Griffith, regardless of whether I can lose. I think it's a doable game.
Yeah.
Fair enough. I kind of want to go back to the series that just played right now because it felt like in that series, something you guys have been known for has been sort of like a more aggressive play style. You and Jack in particular always seem to like to enjoy playing super far forward, but New South Wales prevented you from doing that. What was it about their style that kept you guys so consistently on the back foot?
I'll be honest, like their hours and their ability on the ball to go, like they're quicker, they're more consistent. Their synergy between each other is crazy, and I think that's something that obviously we lack on. Like with more time played, and maybe if we work train, script more, then we could get up to that sort of level. But they're all different breeds. They're just so
Yeah, of course. Sorry, Paul.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I guess a follow-up question on that one. I believe it was game 2, the goal that Tadagane got, where it was like a weird double touch off that backboard thing. Is there any practice tool or any sort of training program or anything that can allow you to like prepare for shots like that?
Yeah, probably if we just like doxed him and then took his internet down, maybe. But other than that, probably not. We just have to sit there and take it.
Probably not a technique we will
Ever
recommend
No,
or we would
no.
suggest to use. We won't recommend that one, but hey, if it works, it works. No. I think it's really, like I said before, it's really tricky coming up against UNSW because I think, you had a couple of games there where you guys were really low on shots, but there were a couple of games as well where you did have a significant amount of shots. They just weren't sinking, or UNSW, they're just so strong in net as well. They're really good defenders as well as offense. What do you think overall was a weakness for you guys today, or something that you would look to improve going into next week?
It would be like our ability to hold pressure because I think their biggest strength is pressure. The second they get to our half and start playing fast and hitting our backboard, we just get overwhelmed and it becomes a bit of an issue. And a lot of our goals stem from counter attacks because they would overcommit, but yeah, that's pretty much it. Like their pressure is just on another level, and definitely something we need to work on. Yeah.
What typically would be the best way to alleviate pressure like that then?
It's just like in the moment. Like once we all start to get flustered, we all start catching the same rotations or sitting in the same spots. It just has to be a matter of getting used to like having one person on the backboard at all times, or one player being able to get a bump to knock one of theirs out of position. It's hard to say how exactly to alleviate. It's more of like it's just playtime really. The more you verse it, the better, or the more you can learn off of it. So,
all right, one last question before we can let you go and send you back on your way. There's been a lot of talk about players who this is their last season or this is their last run because of graduating or for whichever other reason. How is this QUT lineup shaping up looking at the future? Is there a player's last season we don't know about yet, or are you guys sticking with it?
Well, I'll be sticking around because I still got a bit of uni left. Jacko hopefully will stick around. I don't know if Front's staying. I think he said he might finish his course this year. 'Cause I think he was doing a short course, but we'll see. I don't know. It's all a bit. Yeah, I'm definitely staying though, so you'll still be seeing me here. But
All right.
yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
Well, we'll get to see you next week as well in the third place match. Again, condolences on the loss, but congratulations for making this far. And we look forward to
Thank you
seeing
very
you guys play
much.
again next week.
Sweet. Cheers. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was Mac joining us right there. So, yeah, I mean, a bit disappointing for QUT, obviously, to get swept out on this one, but I think he said it best. In New South Wales, we're playing that tier level above.
Yeah, absolutely. UNSW, it's just an insane week for them. It is every week. And QT, maybe not their best performance, but they did play well, and I think they've got a really strong chance in their third place match.
Oh, yeah, we'll see if they will get that chance. Obviously, we still have to figure out who both them and New South Wales is going to be playing. Our next match right around the corner, UON versus Griffith University, Morgie. And we can take a look at their lineups right now. Key players to look out for. I mean, again, Max said it best. Eminence now on this UON lineup really feels like it's elevated it to the next level.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Eminence, we didn't know what to expect from a new player at the start of the season, or we never know what to expect with a new player or a new team. But Eminence came in, all guns are blazing, was hitting some really mechy shots, just really gelled well with this team as well. The passes were insane. The defensive play was insane as well. And Azora, long-running player, strong player on this side. Speedy as well was fits in really well with the squad. I think they're a really strong lineup.
I think they can come together, but on that other side, Griffith University, ADOS, Exile, Ultraviolet. I mean, ADOS has had pop-off moments, Exile has had pop-off moments, but Ultraviolet, in my eyes, has been kind of that most improved player and has frequently been a catalyst as to why Griffith wins games.
Absolutely. And I mean, personally, for me, coming into the Elite Series as more of a regular caster this season compared to last season where I subbed a couple of times, I didn't exactly know what to expect out of this squad in terms of who is that star player, but you could have fooled me. I would have said that Ultraviolet is that player. So if you're calling it most improved, I will take your word on that, but definitely a key player for this team.
Yeah, we'll see how that will all piece together. This is going to be a very interesting matchup. We've got a little bit of time before we kick off, so let's do a predictions, Morgie. Who we got?
Oh, Formal, don't do that to me. This is the game I can't predict. You should have asked me that last series.
Last series was easy. What? Yes, the undefeated team versus the team that barely squeaked in. That's not a tough prediction.
No, but that's a prediction I could have probably made. This one, you're really putting me to the test. I want to say UON. I think just because of how well Eminence does play, I think he does make the difference for these two sides here.
I think, look, here's how you do it. You say it with confidence. UON's going to win this one. You are right. They're going to do it in 5. I think it's going to be a 5-game series.
In 5?
I think I have a good feeling about Eminence coming into this one today. I think we're going to see a strong showing from UON. I almost wanted to say 4, but I want to give Griffith 1 game, so I'm going to say UON 5.
I reckon it's going to be closer than that, Formal. I would say 6 or 7. I want to venture the guess of 7. 6 would be my minimum for these two sides. I don't think anyone's getting out of this series easy.
Oh, we'll see. We will see. We're getting very, very close to kicking this series off. And again, a friendly reminder, conclusion of this one, we're not done with the Rocket League just yet. We will have our third place matchup from the Open Series. Their second semifinal is being played right now. And, well, we'll tell you then who's going to be playing at the end of that. We know UOM is going to be in that series. We're going to find out who their opponent is, when things get set up there. But a little bit of extra time being added right now as we're still trying to find a correct lobby for these two sides.
Yeah, just making sure everything is nice and clean and consistent for both sides. We're not suffering from any lag issues, any ping issues, any server issues. We want to make sure both teams are comfortable and ready to go. We want a good series. We want these players to play at their best. We want to see what we just saw out of UNSW, but we want to see it out of both sides.
Yeah, and I think we will. That's the exciting thing. I think we
Mm.
absolutely will. As now I know this isn't, not everyone can see this, but Speedy still has a profile picture that is catching my attention.
Oh, Formal, I can't see it. I'm an Epic account. Formal,
Uh,
no! What's the profile picture? You gotta tell me.
It's just a picture of my face. It's just
Oh, still.
yeah, still.
Oh, I feel like I'm missing out. I feel like
Yeah,
every
you're
time
really
the
not.
profile pictures come up. I'm switching. Gotta get a Steam account so I can see these profile pictures.
Anyways, yeah, we're about ready to kick this one off. It should be a fun series, no matter which way you look at it. If it goes 5, if it goes 7, I do imagine the series is going to be a lot closer matchup than what we saw before. Big question marks on how much of an impact Eminence can have. Will this be the year that Griffith finally gets himself back into the final? You know, after it's been so long since the old Paradise lineups of years past. The Paradise Baked Potato Show. That was a good time. Well, maybe this roster can follow in their footsteps as we head on to the pitch. 5 minutes about to be placed on the clock, and Morgie are about set to get underway.
That we are, Formal, and you know what? I hadn't actually thought of that before. If Griffith do manage to take out the win here, then it's just a replay of last season, right? Last season's grand final was UNSW Griffith.
Yeah.
Yep, I do, from memory.
No, I thought, no, yeah, so it was apparently last season's final. I still had Macquarie on my mind, but I guess that was 2 seasons ago.
No, Macquarie were here last season.
That's right, they got upset. I remember that now. You are correct. First goal, though, doesn't matter. It goes to Azura.
We had the final appearance from Zenuel's last season, and before he left the league series, but we're already underway with a goal for UON. It's already going the way that we thought it may, but I don't know. I think, like you said, this is going to be a tight series. All these games are going to be tight. There's no way that this is going to go one way strongly.
I still feel like it absolutely could. Yes, you can argue Griffith was in the finals last season, but to me, it's like UON, this is the best we've seen from them in a very long time here in AEL, and they've just been getting stronger and stronger in terms of lineup, and as the season, I should say, has progressed as well. Yeah, okay, maybe they did taper off a little bit towards the end of the season with a couple awkward losses, but as a whole, this squad has just been so complete. I feel like they've constantly been that number 2 team, and this is where they show it by taking down a pretty hot Griffith side.
We are missing someone though. We can't ignore the fact that we are missing.
And I think that is only an improvement.
We are missing Bud out of this side. This is technically not their main lineup, right? Speedy is usually a sub. Admin's making me laugh in the background. Sorry, guys. We're missing Spud. My bad.
Yeah.
My bad.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I don't think we're missing Spud. We're missing. We are missing Bud. Bud is not playing. But I mean, we'll see how much it affects them overall as we continue along with this one. Azura's going to get another lob shot. Less than 2 minutes in, and it's Azura who has the first 2 goals.
Maybe not necessarily meant to be a shot from that angle, but nonetheless it goes in. Azura putting UON up 2-0 early in this game.
Yeah, really strong start actually from this UON side, what they're looking for. I mean, look, sometimes in tight series, you got to take what's given to you, and normally you don't expect that shot to go uncontested all the way through, but Azura saw an angle, went for it, winds up bearing fruit. You can't complain if luck sometimes is a little bit on your side. Not that the positioning was luck, but the defense's positioning may have.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Very, very unlucky for Griffith there to not have had their third man deep enough to make it back to that one in time. We see Azura with a slightly awkward miss off the wall there, but Speedy manages to get to it in time. Looking for the pass, gets it off the sidewall. Eminence going for the shot. But 3 defenders there to make the save.
Azura wants to stay underneath it. Actually, it's a double commit as Eminem follows suit as well. Ball now up for grabs, and here comes Speedy.
Ooh.
Not able to Get it in. Exile tries to bring it back and be cut off across the middle. Eminence doesn't go up, leaves it for Ado. Look backward instead. Just over 2 minutes remaining here in the first game. And if we're going to see a bit of a comeback, you'd want to see Griffith score on this attack.
Yeah, absolutely. Griffith need to do something quickly, otherwise they're going to lose any chance of, I guess, regaining much in this game. Still plenty of games left. We're only in game 1, but we know how important that momentum at the start of a game, at the start of a series is for them.
I mean, we saw it last series, arguably, where New South Wales takes the first game, doesn't look back. At the moment, it's UON attempting to follow suit. Speedy struggling a little bit to get the clear, and I have been catching the odd double commit or tight spacing, depends on who you ask. Coming from this blue side right now, the pinch off the sidewall will create a bit of space. Ados wants to bring it back the other way. Speedy gets their first spike shot, doesn't get over the top of Ultraviolet.
I feel like it's something we do see more though when a team is up in a game or in a series, and right now obviously UON first game, but they are up by not 2, will make it 3. So I feel like when you are in defense, you do tend to lax a little bit more. There's not that much pressure to save every single shot. If they're up by 3 and they lose 1 goal, they're still up by 2. So you do tend to see a few more double.
Yeah, well now it's a 3-point deficit with just over a minute remaining. I dare say a near perfect start for the University of Newcastle. A couple lucky bounces, but more importantly, more consistent play has put them in this position with 1 minute to go. You could start to see some desperation coming for Griffith. The net is open, but Ados can't put it straight.
No. Oh no, that's not the miss. That is not the kind of miss I would expect out of this Griffith side. But as we mentioned at the start of the match, the man that we look for on Griffith, the player that we believe is the saving grace of this side, is Ultraviolet, coming in late with a shot, keeping them alive right now.
A couple elements to that goal that's interesting as well. Exile's double touch in the corner to play setup for it was actually really mechanically difficult, and then you throw that on top of kind of a weak clearing touch over the top. Ultraviolet reads the play super well to get that goal. Fascinating stuff. And now maybe some signs of life as Griffith nearly gets a second with just over 30 seconds left.
Again, though, we're seeing those double commits come out of UON with Azora and Speedy. Obviously, the save was made, but both of them going for that save there. If the ball had not gone their way and the ball had gone straight to one of the Griffith attackers, then there's no one left in net, so they still have to be wary of that, despite the fact that
And with 10 seconds remaining, I just don't feel there is time in this one. Ball will get cleared across the midfield line. That's going to do it. Game number 1, a 3-1 victory going to UON.
Yep, and very well deserved. Well, if UON continue to play like this throughout the rest of the series, then I fear your prediction may be a little more accurate than mine. Griffith were looking very shaky in that, and UON were looking at the top of their game. That's exactly how they need to be playing. But I think the interesting thing here is that UON are typically our team that take a little bit to warm up in a series. They're our reverse sweepers of this league. So the fact that they've come out of the gates really, really hot is exciting to me.
Yeah, it's a little bit surprising to see Griffith kind of maybe struggling that a little bit as well, but obviously still early days, best of 7, still time to kind of go a bit more back and forth. I think for me, though, is the fact that neither team really looked at their top level just yet. Again, from the UON side, had some weird double committee moments. Tight spacing despite a fast pace often kind of leaves someone out of sorts. And there were some moments of that, particularly on the defensive side from UON, that Griffith, unfortunately, were not able to capitalize on, particularly early in that game. On the Griffith side, a couple unlucky bounces, a couple slow rotations back is really what kind of cost them in that first game. So as they ease more into the series, I kind of expect both these teams to kind of cut down on those mistakes. And games 2 and 3 is much more, I think, going to be telling on what sort of level these two sides are playing at.
Oh, absolutely. And, we touched on it at the start of last series. When it comes to best of 7s, game 1 is never really telltale of how the series is going to go, because there's more room for error. There's more space to lose a game without it being so dire and so detrimental to the result. So, we don't tend to see teams always come out red hot in a best of 7 at the very start, because they lose game 1, that's all right. They've got a stack more that they can bring it back compared to a game 5. So you know, maybe Griffith will manage to gain a little bit more momentum in this game and they will come out firing a little bit harder, but that would mean UON would have to lax a little bit as well.
And we'll see if UOM can bring it back. Again, like as well, the best of 7, I do feel like it's games 2, 3, and 4. Like when we start to see teams settle down into a series, and like that's when we'll really learn who these two sides are. And so far, first minute in game 2 hasn't really been taken over by either side yet. Exile actually a little bit too far forward, and well, that's a similar mistake to what we saw in game number 1 here, Morgie. Speedy tries to turn into a shot, but it's good defense from Ultraviolet to keep it out of the net.
Ultraviolet's positioning right now is excellent, just kind of in the way of UON no matter where they go. And just kind of sticking to the ball like glue has really played in their favour right now. You see ADOS take the ball to the corner as well, puts a shot available for Exile, who goes just a little bit too wide. That could have been a good start for Griffith Formal, but nonetheless, Ultraviolet comes in for the cleanup and scores for Griffith.
There you go. I mean, again, panicked defense. You can see Speedy and Eminence were taking the exact same line, getting in each other's way. It leaves the third player out of sorts as well, setting up a goal. Finally, Griffith able to capitalize on some sloppy positioning from UON.
It was kind of funny as well seeing both UON defenders there kind of jump, realize the ball was going to go behind them, do a kind of semi-half backflip, not quite where they wanted to be, but both the exact same move, so at least they're playing consistently. But Eminence not wanting to let Griffith run away with the lead, scores another goal back for UON.
And now we're tied 1-1. It didn't take long for the response, and that's always what you want to see out of a team in any sort of series. The fast response, keeping their opponents, you know, from getting too far away in this one. And I just... Again, UON right now, at times they are looking like the more complete team, although we are seeing more fight coming from Griffith. They are playing a little bit further forward right now. Light touch from Exile isn't able to get to the ball back in time. Speedy having a much larger presence so far, dare I say, in game 2 than he had in game 1.
Absolutely. Speedy, we haven't seen so much of Speedy throughout this season. I feel, like I said, technically Speedy is their sub, so we haven't seen Speedy only a couple of series really, but is quite the dangerous player and does really well for this side. But again, Formal, I feel like I'm going to be saying it over and over again throughout tonight. No matter the result of this series, Ultraviolet is just playing so well.
Ultraviolet's, I don't want to say single-handedly keeping Griffith in it, because that was a great little pass from ADOS as well to get it up to them. However, another nice shot from Ultraviolet, who has been the one, but nearly again the immediate response, this time saved by Ultraviolet. I love how UON constantly tries to strike back, but this time, Griffith ready for it. They make a big save.
It feels like Griffith can't get much of a break at the moment in terms of just having a little comfortable lead just for a little while, because as soon as they score, UON managed to score back. Azora with a quite a long shot, I guess, almost from the halfway point. And Ultraviolet, despite how we've been saying he's been playing so well, just missed that save.
Yeah, it was a mistake, and it was a costly one. Again, it's a fast response from UON. Not necessarily a kickoff like before, but still fast enough to equalize with plenty of time left to go in game number 2. I don't want to call this must-win for Griffith just yet, however. This does get very, very sticky if Griffith isn't able to find a way to get back out in front.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I feel like even if Griffith do drop this game, I feel like that just given how much better they played in this game compared to the last, if they manage to keep up that kind of that pattern and they get better next game and they warm more into the series, then I think it could go the other way in game 3. But UON just not letting them have any room or any space to breathe right now.
Yeah, there's also a lot of aggressive challenges, which is what you want to see. ADOS burns all their boosts just to lose possession. Now it's Exile who will go up with a crack on it. Azora tries to match, but it's a bit too slow. Pass, though, gets intercepted by Eminence, who starts to bring it back the other way. No boost, still goes for the pre-jump. Doesn't quite hit it. It's Ultraviolet now who gets challenged in the corner. Ball's in a very favorable spot. ADOS wants a teammate to follow up. Here comes Exile, but it's a double commit. No boost on either. A missed opportunity maybe for the Griffith side. Exile recovers, though, and takes the late Griffith lead.
What a shot from Exile. What composure here on the wall to come coming from, so his momentum was backwards. He came from defense, did a quick tight turn on the wall, carried the ball, took it straight into net. Not what UON was expecting at all. Not the kind of shot that they thought was going to come out of Griffith either.
Seen 2 fast responses, though, from UON. This time, though, it's Exile slicing a shot straight through. Finally, a 2-goal cushion for Griffith.
This is what I want to see, Formal. This is the Game 7 series I was talking about earlier. This is what I've been expecting out of Griffith. I think that, like I said before, they do take a little bit of a while to warm into it. Both of these teams historically have. But it seemed that UON was stronger at the start tonight, and Griffith are just getting better and better as time ticks on.
That they are, and with 45 seconds remaining, I think Griffith has done enough to take the second game, so series coming alive here in game number 2 as Griffith does respond to UON. They took advantage of a couple of those weird double commits, and more importantly, though, they found the touch accuracy that was lacking in game number 1.
Absolutely, and I feel like something you really nailed before was one of UON's strengths really are those really, I guess, a little bit of a pun, but those speedy rushes, those really fast charges onto the ball whenever Griffith have had the ball. UON are just there, they're in their faces. So Griffith have managed to beat that this game. They've managed to get around the UON players somehow. They've adapted to this gameplay, and they've taken this game for a win.
I still remember, it was, I think, the second season of the ODL when I tried my hand at managing a little bit. And on the Div 1 team, we had a player who I wasn't too familiar with named Husey, who was that exact type of player you were describing, constantly in the opponent's face, constantly challenging, just pure aggression all the time, borderline ball-chasing accusations. And lo and behold, Husey comes to UON. The team goes from a bottom-tier team in the Elite Series to competing for playoffs and, making those deeper runs. And then to see that same play style still being emulated now that Husey kind of brought to the school about 2 years ago. It's exciting to watch, and it's good to see them finding success with it. Doesn't give them the window in game number 2. In fact, we saw Griffith respond in kind and came out on top in that second game, but it's just fascinating how one player can impact the school sometimes.
Oh, absolutely, and I feel like it's the type of play style that any player can get good at. So long as you actually, decide that, now I'm going to start rushing, now I'm going to start beating everybody to the ball, I'm just going to hammer on boost, I'm going to go as fast as I can. And a lot of the time teams don't expect it when it comes out of nowhere, and you don't have to put much thought into it either. There's not a lot of pressure on timing passes and hitting mechie shots. You're not thinking about going up for resets or anything like that. You've just got to rush to the ball. It is a very underrated style.
Eminence will get credit for the first goal with a beautiful flick right over the top. You can see that one there. Ultraviolet unable to make that read despite having some boost in the tank. Just wasn't expecting a location at that velocity. 1-0 lead now for UON.
This game is becoming quite the tennis match or the ping pong game. I feel like for it's one team is dominating 1 second, the other team is dominating the next. It's not game by game right now, but it almost seems play by play. It is game by game, this one though. Azora scoring a second goal for UON within the first minute of this game, putting them up to a 2-goal lead. Quite efficient.
And you have to remember too, Azora was the big catalyst in game number 1, but then was kind of more invisible game number 2. So to see them getting once again involved, fighting those goals, it's only good signs for UON here as Exile off the kickoff puts that one and tries to follow it up. Now actually getting a little bit disruptive. I like the bump attempts. It doesn't work out immediately.
I think you might be right. I think Eminence is the player we're expecting to see consistent, strong play out of Mechie play. We're expecting to see greatness out of Eminence. Speedy, like I said, we haven't seen a lot of this season, but we are seeing those rushes that are throwing Griffith off and taking the ball off them. But it's really falling on Azora's shoulders whether the game goes one way or another, whether Azora is playing peak in a game or whether he is quiet is really affecting UON's scoring.
We'll see as okay, well, look, not every play is going to be clean this semi-final. Oh my goodness. What is going on, Morgie? What?
you're going to see a little bit of chaos sometimes. We can't expect them to always be playing well. And the chaos continues, not just through the field, not just in the midfield, but into this goal as well. Just a quick little pass from Ultraviolet to ADOS. You see UON defenders just speeding through, trying to rush to the ball in time, but can't get there.
I feel like that goal has like maybe a 10% success rate, but hey, they hit on it and they got that goal. Credit to them. Off-speed setup does bear fruit, and we're looking at a 2-1 lead now, so lead gets cut in half, and with Griffith on the hunt looking for that next one, still a lot of time left in this game. A 2-goal comeback would be pretty detrimental. I feel like if Griffith can pull this one off, they'll have a lot of momentum going into game 4.
Oh, absolutely, and that would be so detrimental to UON's mental as well, although typically they are a team that I would credit to having a really strong mental day, and you'd have to be a team that is our reverse sweep merchants of the league. Have so many, I think they had the most game 5s as well throughout the season, not just the reverse sweeps. You'd have to have a strong mental to be able to come back from that, so I wouldn't count them out just yet, even if Griffith do manage to draw.
We'll see what happens. Still 2 minutes remaining, a lot of time, and it is going to maybe flip. Actually, a good job right now by UON to kind of hold possession right here. Going for a fake does work. We do finally get to see the map flipped. Griffith on the attack, going to be looking to set themselves up for an equalizing touch. Who's it going to come from? Awkward first challenge, leaves Exile out of position. This nearly goes back the other way.
Oh, that was super dangerous for Griffith as well. We, looking at just their rotations in general, they've been pretty solid throughout this series, but just then we saw a little bit of a weakness. We saw a little bit of a wobble. Third man pushing up really high in offense, and a clean break the other way almost led to a goal against them. They're just going to be wary of that and make sure that their third man pushes are safe enough for another player to make it back to defense.
Clear back the other way. To the corner we go. Exile. This is out to Azura. Now here comes a touch. Speedy. Shot. No, save. Oh man, they're still trying to find some ways to get it as evidence. Just for a reset, but isn't able to connect with it. Duck shot. That looks good! And it's a 3-1 lead.
There's that cushion again that UON had at the start of the match, and just something that takes the edge off a little bit, makes them feel a little bit more comfortable. Sorry, Ultraviolet on the wrong side of the net just then. ADOS had just jumped as well, could not get there in time either. We've still got a minute left, Formal. There's still plenty of time to even out this game. Maybe we'll see our first OT of the night as well, if Griffith can get to the net.
We'll see what they can piece together. Pressure being put on the net. No! ADOS isn't able to take it over the top, and now I'm starting to get a little bit more worried right now, because if we can't find that goal in the next 20 seconds or so, it will look like UON's going to hold on. Ultraviolet very slow in wrapping around because they have no boost. Not picking up any of the small boosts either. Finally gets the full tank, but enough time for UON to react.
That indeed, time is ticking down. Even if Griffith do manage to score right now, we're almost looking like we would need a kickoff goal as their second to be able to equalise this and take it into OT. But UON just putting on so much pressure, not allowing them any room to breathe. But just as I say that, the ball drops down. ADOS with a massive pass to confuse Speedy here, who was almost getting chased in net, and Exile coming in to clean that one up.
And now, 16 seconds, maybe a chance for Griffith to do something special here. Kickoff has to be perfect. It's on the wall, but it's Eminence who has the speed. It's Eminence looking for the reset. Ultraviolet, desperation, defensive touch backwards. Plays keep away, but all three members of Griffith swarm to the ball. Exile can't find the touch. They're redirected into a shot, and it's going to have to be through a desperation challenge now. Ball gets lobbed. It's over the top. UON take game 3.
Oh, I thought that was going to be our equalizer. Formal. Exile looked really good there, but with the ball coming backwards over his head, it is a tricky read to keep that one alive, especially with the clock ticking down so fast, especially knowing you've only got one opportunity to equalize the series there. So definitely a tricky one, but UON just managing to stay alive in that one and are off their own lead right now.
Yeah, so the pendulum swings back in UON's favor, but if the series is going how you're predicting it, Griffith should be expected to respond, and We saw some more signs of life from them towards the latter half of that game for sure. Ultraviolet, though, kept surprisingly quiet in that game, which I still feel like is going to be a key component if Griffith's going to find a way to win this one. I still like seeing ADOS get a bit more involved. Exile nearly made the game equalizing play. Griffith, they shouldn't be too down on themselves now. They could easily take this game back.
One side relying on Ultraviolet, it seems, and the other one relying on Azora. It kind of comes down to which player is playing better of those two sides. But Ultraviolet already off to a nice start. He didn't score the goal, but he managed to get the ball into a great position for ADOS to take the shot.
Yeah, that recovery for the second touch, and more importantly, the bump that follows it afterwards. And you say ADOS, I'll just say that's a team effort between the two of them to put that one in. I mean, that's Griffith responding, and that's kind of what I expected to see from them starting off Game 4.
Absolutely. We know it's do or die for them right now. We know that they have to get off to a good start to manage to keep themselves in this. They cannot let UON run away with another game. The synergy between this side right now is looking a lot better. They seem to be finding each other really well. Seems like the comms are a little bit more on point as well for them. So UON are looking a little in trouble right now, almost scoring themselves. This is chaos.
Yeah, but it's, chaos benefited Griffith in the past, and it's benefiting them now as well as they maintain the attacking pressure. Exile wanted to get that ball a little bit more centered. It'll be left for ADOS instead. Azura playing keep away. Can't find anyone underneath, though, so has to stay jammed in the corner. This could open up the middle of the pitch. Ultraviolet, though, unable to corral it. And I can't help but feel like UON got away with one there.
Well, I have a question.
Yes.
I have a question in terms of chaos. Who do you think is our most chaotic team this season? Out of all the 8 teams this season, who is the most chaotic in terms of play style, in terms of just general presence? UCID, you reckon?
UCID, yeah. Who would you say?
Oh, no, I see it. I don't know why. In my mind, I had ANU.
That's a good one too, though. I mean, UNSW in terms of like great chaos. We love the chaos that comes out of the Steve shot, but general chaos. I feel like it'd be a tricky toss-up between UNSW and ANU. Both, you can never quite read how they're going to play. I'd stick with UCID personally, but you know what? At the moment, Griffith's pretty up there as Ultraviolet leaves it right up. I put Griffith as second actually on that list for me.
No, that's fair enough. That's fair. I mean, just then I was about to say, shot for Ultraviolet, but no, apparently not. No, I can't read anything out of this side right now.
Well, I mean, look, this is the exact response we were hoping to see, though, from this Griffith side. 2 goals for the first 2 minutes. They actually have not been the most chaotic. Never mind. But the chaos benefits them usually, so it's been a good little turnaround. Oh my god, what is happening? Ooh, it was open.
I was about to say as well. What kind of save was that? The shots. I thought. Oh my god, so much to dissect this thing. I thought Azora had a flip reset, didn't take the shot off it, maybe didn't have the reset. What is going on, Bobo?
Your opponents never expect you to pass the ball to them as they triple commit in front of the net. It's wide open, but it's the slowest shot ever. ADOS pops it up. Exile goes for the boost instead. As we're now going to clear. Action happening too fast to really stay on top of. All I can tell you is both teams have had opportunities, and both teams have squandered them.
Yeah, this is not either team that we had in our first few games there. Ultraviolet has had enough though, wants to put an end to this madness, shoots top corner, scores, puts Griffith up 3-0 in this game.
Yeah, with the way how this game is going as well, that most likely is going to be the goal that secures Game 4. Still a lot of time left, so we don't want to put it in pen and paper just yet. However, we're going to need to see a complete turnaround for UON if they're going to get back in this fourth match.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, with a minute 40 left and with how Griffith is playing, that is a tricky ask for UON right now, but if the pattern swings the same way as it has been the entire series for, I wouldn't be surprised if UON comes back swinging next match and 3-0's Griffith. So this is what I mean by when we were talking about prediction at the start of this series. It's really tricky to pick out of these two sides.
It really, really is, and it's good to see Griffith, fighting back. That said, Eminence almost kind of snuck one in near towards the end. We're going to see another clear back down to the corner. Eminence swings and misses. Now trying to get something a bit more centered. It's actually a pass across the Speedy off the backboard. Where's the shot, though? There's no third member there. It was a good setup, but with no final touch, they're still going to be left with 0 on the board.
No, going back to talking to Mac earlier on Tuesday, I have to agree that regardless of who's playing better today, regardless of who wins or loses this series, I feel like I would really love to see a Griffith UT matchup. Not that I'm saying I want Griffith to lose this, but I feel like that would be a really interesting series. But I don't know, it's tricky to say. I feel like it'd be less intense. It'd be more intense than if UON were to take on.
We'll see what will happen. I mean, we obviously still have our third place match in the upcoming, for the Open series, not the series as well. So we'll try to figure out who's going to be in that one, that series happening. It should be actually finishing up roughly about now, assuming that it's a clean sweep, which it never is, so we'll see who we wind up there. But in this series, we're one step closer to going the distance. Tied up after 4, it is now 2-all.
Looking like it will be a good series indeed, Formal. Looking like I still think that this will go to Game 7. I don't think either team is going to pull away winning the next 2 games in a row. I think it's just going to be back and forth. I think UON is going to take the next, and then Griffith's going to come back firing again. There is no way to separate these teams right now.
No, there is not. But, I mean, looking at the stats at the end of this one, I think something that did separate, at least in that last game, 12 shots to 4. All of the attacking pressure coming from Eminence. Griffith just really dominated possession in that game.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that Griffith do really well. And if they were doing that in this entire series, if they were keeping the ball close, keeping an eye out, whoever's on the ball, keeping an eye out for their second and third man, like they were doing that series, I feel like they knew where each other were. They knew they were coming really well. They knew what plays they were wanting to create. And that was ultimately resulting in a lot of good goals for them.
And it kind of gave them that nice win. We'll see if they can continue with it, although Exile, bit of a breakaway moment. Ooh, almost misses, but uses the post and makes it 1-0.
Almost a miss indeed. That was very close. Just hits that front post, manages to just corral its way into net off the very, very edge. That was a very, very, I'm not going to say lucky. That was almost not good for there, but very nice shot from Exile.
Here we go. Backboard. Going to be caught by Eminence. Through the corner we go. Eminence now wants to get things a bit more centered. Zados holds it in the corner. Here comes a shot. No. Denied. Good save on the line. And now with another counterattack, maybe Griffith can make this one 2-0. Demo slows things down. Although it's a demo for a demo now. 2v1 challenge sees Exile. Keep it in the corner. Clearing touch from ADOS. Wants to find Ultraviolet. They connect and it's a 2-0 game.
What a clean passing play, and like I said before, exactly what Griffith were doing really well last game. Knowing where each other are, looking for those passes, making those call-outs. It makes it so much harder for a defender to read a shot if they don't know whether the person on the ball is actually going to take the shot or whether they're going to look for their second man to take the shot instead.
Here we go, through the corner, Ultraviolet. Get that ball a bit more centered. Actually went to pumping Speedy a little bit instead. Here comes ADOS now. Deep clear. Second touch as well. Backward setup. Eminence. Oh, risky touch. Unfortunately, no one was immediately underneath. Still, though, that shot will go in. ADOS credit for the goal.
Same as Exile's first shot. Just that little tiny edge on the front post, I guess, of the goal sends the ball into net off an angle. Wow, this Griffith side really are playing a lot better now for them.
That they are. I mean, it feels like those unlucky bounces that were kind of working against them at the start are now all starting to go their way. And 3 goals in less than a minute and a half. UON, that's now 5 unanswered against them, Morgie. What has been going on? They have just kind of dried up all their attacking pressure.
Oh, and they're definitely losing their usual kind of style of warming up later in the series. It seems like they're getting colder with each game. I don't know, Griffith are playing a lot better though. I feel like it's a bit of a combo of both factors, but yeah, I do tend to agree. UON are really struggling right now.
And we'll see how much that will be as we get some touches back the other way initially. Ball right corner. Azor tries to wrap around it. All off the backboard. Speedy. Can't do too much. Here comes Exile. Nope, it's a little bit denied once again. Ultraviolet. Doesn't stay with that play. Still just under 3 minutes remaining. I'm hoping to see UON show us a bit more something, but it's just not all coming together at all for them. And we're now at the position halfway through this game, Morgie. They're about to be down nearly 4-0, and they've only put one shot on.
It's definitely a tricky formal. I don't even know what to say about UON right now that could help, I guess. It's really tricky. I wouldn't. They're not a team that really change up their play style too much. They have a very solid, consistent way that they play. Typically, my go-to is, get aggressive, go for the demos, throw the defenders off course a little bit. But I feel like Griffith are just adapting really well to anything UON do right now.
We'll see. To the corner we go. Speedy. He doesn't get that next touch. Exile now up over the top. Runs it into Azura's midfield bumpage happens. Actually works out in favor initially for UON, but they can't do too much with it after that.
And the pass as well from Ultraviolet. Speedy makes it there in time though, takes a shot himself, but rotations from Griffith are just too clean right now, and ADOS was there to retrieve the ball. Azora looking for Eminence though, he's going to pass it back, but again, Ultraviolet on the backboard, making sure they can't do anything with that offense.
Yeah, and as time just keeps whittling further and further down, strong defensive effort. It's been locked down almost, it feels like, from this Griffith side. Even though in those few moments where we saw touches on the red side of the pitch, it's immediately flipped back the other side. And I just don't understand what happened to UON. Where'd it go in this series?
I don't think it's necessarily that. It's that Griffith are just playing insane right now. Although that shot out of Eminence would have probably been the best shot we've seen all series, I would venture to say. But as we've seen a lot this series, both teams are just really have a strong second man, they have a strong third man push, just getting shots over 3 defenders, someone there to clean up the act, and Azora did exactly that.
I want to know what ADOS was doing that entire sequence at the end right there. I don't know how many people got it, but they were just kind of almost driving in circles while in reverse. Exile responds off the kickoff though, just to further emphasize the point that Griffith is going to win this game.
I had a feeling you were going to say something about that. I just had a feeling. But yeah, again, Griffith just responding as we saw in earlier games how quickly UON responded anytime Griffith got a goal, and it feels like that's just gone the opposite way right now. Anytime UON do manage to get a shot on the board, Griffith just responds with another 1 or 2, really locking UON out right now.
Yeah, that has been the case, and unfortunately for UON, they're now going to be in that awkward position of back against the wall, needing one more game to put it together. And look, maybe Bud might be missing him a little bit right now. We'll see. We'll see.
100%. Surely we get a Bud sub.
I don't know.
Surely a mid-series Bud sub. I think we need a little bit of a change right now. Although I don't know who to replace necessarily for them. I wouldn't know who needs a sub out right now. I feel like the players aren't. There's no one player that's playing poorly. I think Griffith are just like, how do you stop this? How do you stop this steam train right now?
Again, with the sub, you replace Ultraviolet with Bud, so you make it a 4v2. Because the easiest answer.
We love chaos. Yeah. We love chaos. We love a bit of chaos.
Sub out someone from their team. I don't understand why no one's ever thought of that. Timer is going to hit 0 about now, but we still have to wait for that ball to hit the ground. Will be a Griffith victory, who are now sitting 1 game away from a rematch in the grand final. It would be a pretty great run for them in order to get to that rematch, but I mean, we'll see.
Yeah, definitely would help Griffith kind of solidify their position in the league if they do manage to make back-to-back grand finals across the 2 seasons. I know there was some, again, excuse me if I'm wrong here because I wasn't here much of last season, but there was some doubt as to, whether Griffith would stay in second position, whether last season, was just a once-off and they would return strong again this season, but they absolutely have, and this would solidify that.
I mean, it definitely would. I think the reason why there's always kind of maybe question marks around the Griffith side being that number 2 team is because they never make it look easy, right? It's never a clear cut, yes, this is the next team in line, like when in the past when we saw it with University of New South Wales and Macquarie. Griffith has definitely had to fight a lot more to kind of hold that number 2 spot, and the job still isn't done. They're going to have to keep fighting to take one of these next 2 games because I have a feeling UON isn't done yet. This is a team that plays their best when their back is against the wall, and now they've got to win 2 in a row.
Absolutely, and UON had that second spot on the ladder throughout, I think, the entire season, right? If I'm not wrong, and absolutely deserved as well. They are a team that you asked me at the start of the season who's going to be in the grand final. If I had to choose, tell me you're on the spot. No, you can't get out of this call. I would have said UON in the grand final as well. So Griffith have managed to fight their way back throughout the season. They've managed to say, no, we're still here. We deserve a spot in this grand final. And they are showing exactly that pressure up.
First goal, though, is going to go to Eminence. It was chaos in front of the net, and this time it's UON that stands up tall.
Yeah, excellent shot, and giving UON that little bit of momentum that they needed. Ultraviolet coming off the backboard there, obviously mid-air, not quite knowing where to position himself for that shot. But yeah, excellent angle from Eminence, really showing how much of a threat he is and how forward he is to this UON side.
No, Exile. Trying to play off the side wall. Actually gets Demo from behind. ADOS now. That one go. Ultraviolet through the corner. Wants to stay with it, but the ball's going to wind up falling. Here we go. It's another shot off the backboard. Still not there. And I mean, trying to find a little spark of life right now back on the other side because it's Griffith who's being held back, pinned on their own backboard. Demo's coming against them, but again, Eminence can't put the shot straight.
We've already seen early on a few demos this match, and definitely putting a little bit of pressure on both sides. The first shot didn't go in, but ADOS there to collect the ball off the save, puts the second one in, and evens up this game.
Yeah, straight through. Tie ball game now, 1 apiece, and that was the response Griffith needed again. They're going to close this series out. You feel like they'd have a much better chance in Game 6 than Game 7. They respond to the initial goal, and off the kickoff, they're bringing the pressure one more time, but this time it's Eminence back up the other way, going to try to make the backboard free, yet it's Exile who has the pace.
Great pace to get back to that save in time. We've seen a few pushes like that go the other way in the past and result in a lost goal, so good on them to get back in time. But when seeing passes come out left, right, and center, Ultraviolet and ADOS again passing to one another. That time it went a little bit too high and didn't result in a goal, but I'm loving to see this teamwork going on right now.
Yeah, it is good to see, and the more they connect, the better their chances will become. And realistically, I mean, both teams have been kind of falling a bit more and more onto the pass, which is a little bit unusual. I mean, Griffith, they bring it out on occasion. It's not typically something I've kind of known them for in the past. Eminence, oh, what a demo!
That's the kind of aggression I love to see, and something we've definitely been lacking in our games tonight. Eminence just guiding that ball towards the net, gets the demo as well, make sure there is no defender there to protect it. It's exactly the kind of aggression that this side needs.
Here we go. 3 minutes remaining. Ultraviolet gets bumped, and that sets up Speedy for a touch straight down the middle. No! Diving save. ADOS may have set up Exile as well. Beautiful defensive effort. It won't result in a goal the other way, but oh, it was close.
Oh yeah, it was so close. Massive, massive save there from ADOS to make sure UON was not going to get that cushion that they so desperately need this game. They want to go to Game 7. They don't want to end it right now, sorry. Griffith are just not allowing anything.
No, they are not. And with 2 minutes, 15 seconds remaining, I keep seeing UON. They're driving the ball down the other way. They'd love that second goal cushion because it feels like Griffith has just been getting closer and closer, but I don't know. 2 minutes is a long time to hold right now, Morgie.
Absolutely. I feel like with 2 minutes on the board, you never really park the bus. You got to park the bus when you've got under a minute left. A little bit too dangerous right now for any team, I guess, in any game to sit back and beat us with 2 minutes left. But Griffith are just putting on the pressure. They want to equalize this. Shots going wide as well. I feel like it's only a matter of time.
At that same token, though, you expect Ultraviolet to hit those. The fake was great. And when Exile was kind of not in the right spot for it from before. Either way, there's only a couple more chances, realistic ones. You'd have to think that Griffith is going to be able to force for themselves in the remainder of this game. ADOS might have one here. It's a pass to Ultraviolet. The net was open, but it's off the top post, not in.
Oh no! Again, I feel like I gotta check the stats on this one, Formal, but we've had, what, 3, 6, 7 shots out of Griffith compared to UON's 2. Yet UON's 4. Yet UON are winning this game. It's crazy to see that Griffith's shots are just a millimeter too wide, a millimeter too high. Not the shooting percentage they had in the first couple of games.
And I think that's best emphasized by the fact Griffith 7 shots on target, only 2 saves for UON as Azura goes solo mode and makes it a 3-1 game.
We haven't seen much solo play throughout this entire night, even with UNSW. There weren't too many solo plays, but Azura, what a shot. All 3 defenders past the net. He's unable to get past him there. He just drove through them all.
And with that goal, I think that secures it, or about as close to. We're going to go to Game 7.
And then trying to get another shot there, but it's just not quite enough to put them up by 3. Ultraviolet looking to seek a quick shot here. Eminence with the block though on net. Ball's going back and forth right now. Griffith have to score right now, and ADOS does. 16 seconds left for them. Well, it's not. I feel like that's more than enough time, not just for a kickoff goal, but they could potentially just do some damage with a normal shot here in 16 seconds.
It's hard, though, because, I mean, 16, yeah, it's a bit of time, but it's not a lot. Realistically, you're still only going to get one real attempt at it, be it off the kickoff, or maybe with a bit of setup, they're going to go for the kickoff. It looks good for Ultraviolet. It's such a slow touch. Ball still in front of the net. Ultraviolet cut, goes high. Eminence will collect. 5 seconds to go.
Oh, that was insanely close. Just a missed opportunity. We're still going to see one. There is no way that just went in. There is no way we just got an equalizer with 1 second. ADOS did not have enough power on that shot. It was going too wide anyway. Exile in the perfect place at the perfect time to redirect that. Oh, well, this is the best game we've had tonight.
It really is, and we are, of course, going to be taking this potentially to overtime, and I say potentially because the ball's still in the air underneath Speedy. Nearly gets it done. We go to extra minutes, our first overtime of the evening, and it's to potentially put Griffith into the grand final.
If Speedy scored that with 1 second on the clock, Formal, I was leaving. You're going to be left to solo cast. I can't handle this right now. My heart is beating as I'm watching these two teams battle it out. This is the most
Shots on!
insane...
Shots on! ADOS
No
gets
way.
it done! Griffith is going to the finals!
Oh my god, after such a dominant Formal, I'm going to call it a dominant 4 minutes 59 of that game from UON, for Griffith to come in at the end with 16 seconds left and just take that away from them, put them into OT, and then score almost an immediate goal off the back of that. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Griffith absolutely deserved to go for that second place spot after the season they've had.
ADOS, the one stepping up the most in that last game with that back against the wall right there. I mean, credit to Exile for finding this 1 second goal to equalize, but ADOS finishes with the hat trick. It was ADOS who got that, clutch OT goal when it's all said and done. And yeah, Ultraviolet may have been the focus coming into this one, but ADOS historically has been that star player for this Griffith squad. So hats off to him. Hats off to this Griffith side. What a series, and what a dramatic way to end it as well.
I can't believe that's the way that series just went for. I thought for sure that UON were winning that one. We were going to go to Game 7. We were going to have a massive Game 7, sure, but it was going to... There's no chance that wasn't going to Game 7, and we're left in 6. We're left with Griffith winning it in 6, but what a deserved win nonetheless.
Yeah, pretty crazy one indeed. I mean, maybe our third place match will be the one that goes to 7. Either way, though, we will be getting an interview here before we throw it to a break with none other than ADOS. As soon as that is ready to go, I mean, he's not quite ready yet, so we're gonna have a little time before we have a word with him. But a rematch of a finals, Morgie, a rematch of last Elite Series finals. Right now, I think ADOS might be with it. Nope, still getting ready. But yeah, I mean, kind of crazy to think about.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And like I said before, it just, despite no matter what anybody has said throughout the series, that just goes to show that Griffith are in it to make it to the grand final. They have been from the get-go and absolutely deserve their spot in the grand final against UNSW.
Well, now we have the man with the hat trick in Game 6 joining us. ADOS, congratulations, back to the final. Can't really think of a better way to do it either. Crazy comeback that Game 6. You have to be feeling over the moon right now.
Oh, that was the best. That was a great way to end the game. So yeah, they played very well. Very happy with our win, and yeah, we've been slowly building up over the season for the rematch of the final. So looking forward to next week as well.
Was there any point throughout that series that you were like really genuinely worried, that you were thinking there's something we've got to change? It's do or die right now. We're worried we're going to lose this, or did you think you always know that you would bring it back?
Look, honestly, the first game was a little bit worrying. I think we went down 3-0, and I'm like, no, like, come on. Like, we've done so many scrims, and we've gone through so many replays. Like, something's got to change. So we had a little bit of a talk. We took the whole break in between the games, and I tried to play a little bit more defensively. It ended up helping our rotations, and we just was able to dominate pretty much from then. We were trading games the first couple, and then just the last few were just cleaned it out pretty. Yeah.
So I want to kind of like dive into the mindset right now. What goes through a team's mind when you get that goal to bring it back within 16 seconds remaining? What is going through your and everyone's head? What are communications comms like? Do you have plays set up for like these type of situations? So walk us through those final 16 seconds of Game 6.
We were thinking about trying to have like a fake or Spanish kickoff as like a last resort to try and get us like a free goal in like desperate situations, but we haven't had time to go through that. But we always just be very positive, even when we're down 3-0. We always like, it's possible. Even like it was 3-1 and it was like 20 seconds left when we scored. It was like, still possible, we can still do it. And we ended up coming back and winning in overtime. So it's always staying positive, always just if we get scored in, it's okay. It's just unlucky, and we'll just move forward and try and forget it and just focus on the game ahead.
Didn't even need the Game 7, just wanted to get it all done and wrapped up in Game 6. And honestly, love to hear it, especially when you were put on the back foot like that and had to do something quickly. It's good to hear, but something I just want to touch on that I feel like we haven't heard too much throughout the season. We've had a lot of interviews, obviously, with a lot of teams throughout the season. And we always touch on training and scrims and replays in one way or another. And I feel like 99% of the time I get I haven't played the game in 2 weeks. Like, oh yeah, I've probably got like an hour or two, queued up some rank the other night. But you guys have been scrimming and you've been doing replays and that.
As much as possible. Yeah, so as much as possible. Like, we're all very busy, so we only get like maybe every third day we get to play together. But we are playing solo as well. Trying to scrim when we can. We jumped on a little bit early today and played some ranked, ended up having like the same people, so it was basically just a ranked scrim. So that was really good warm up for us. And yeah, just the mental and just over the season we've just slowly got more chemistry together and just playing more together. And really looking forward to next week and seeing how we go against the undefeated UNSW. So
yeah, how are you feeling about that matchup? Because again, they looked very dominant today. Do you have the confidence that you might be able to, make that upset happen, or is it kind of a see how we go, give it our best shot attitude?
Look, it's I don't know, it's been on and off So even not even in just AEL, like across different tournaments, we've played them as well. Like there was the Uni Rocketeers, and we ended up versing them. We went 4-2 in a best of 7. So it was like last season we got swept, and then we beat them 4-2, and then 4-1, and then like we lost to them in the best of 5. So like slowly bring it up, and hopefully we'll take it out. Yeah, they are definitely the strongest team here, and so we're gonna have to be playing our A game there, and yeah, we'll see how we go, I guess.
Fair enough. All right. Well, either way, thank you so much for joining us. Congratulations again, making it once again to that finals, and look forward to seeing you play again next week.
Thank you. Yes, we'll talk to you next week.
Thank you.
Yes, we will. But that was ADOS right there. That still is ADOS right there. But yeah. Look, we got ourselves one more game today. It's going to be a third place match from our Open Series. So a couple familiar teams from the Elite Series will be back to play a best of 7. We'll also have an interview with Speedy when we return. So stick around. One more series on the night when we come back. Welcome back, everybody. Our second semifinal did just finish up, and it was an exciting one, that is for certain. So we're done with the Elite Series, though, for today, Morgie. We're getting geared up to go back down to the Open Series. Before we do that, though, we will have a word with Speedy coming to join us as soon as that gets finalized and set up. So, well, we have a little bit of time. Well, we have a little bit of moments to kind of yap. How are you feeling? How you doing?
I'm good. I a little bit hungry. It is a little bit past dinner time, and we'll get to the sponsors later. But I could really go for a bowl of Indomie right now.
You know, I might have that in my future as well. But what we have for right now is, of course, a word from Speedy joining us. UON, first of all, consolation in the defeat. I know it wasn't the result you were looking for. Heartbreaking fashion how that went down in Game 6. However, I don't know what's going through your mind after a series like that.
Look, it was rough. It's rough to lose, but they did play a very, very good game. Their passes are on point, and yeah, they just got there in the end.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, like with you guys, we thought for sure this would go to do a Game 7. It was a tight series nonetheless. You had some really, really great games there. It's obviously unfortunate the loss, but what do you think you did better in the games that you did win?
I think in the games that we won, we sort of just played the game. Like I feel like some of the games we overthought a little bit. It sort of just got to our heads, and it sort of just their passes were just hard to handle. So it just slipped out of our hands, I guess.
So I have to ask as well, though, what was up with UON's rostering, I guess, coming into this? Because it felt like you guys had a different roster every single week, never really had that, like, core identity. Was that something that was always the plan? Was it you guys just kind of rolling with availabilities? Or did you come into this week thinking, this is our core lineup, these are our strongest 3 players?
So originally, I was part of the core roster, and for the first 3, I think, weeks, I was playing OzTag, so I wasn't able to play any of the games. So Bud was playing for the first pretty much half of the season, and so when I came back, I sort of played the rest.
Oh, fair enough. It can be, we've talked about it before, and it's like it's hard with uni students because you've got so much on. You've got jobs, you've got classes to attend, and competing as well. It's really a testament to how much heart you guys have in the game to be still competing and still putting the effort into the league as well. So massive props there to you guys and to all players.
Thank you. Yeah.
Looking forward to next week. We've still got next week to play, and we're very much looking forward to that. I think that'll be a really good matchup. What is, without giving away too many team secrets, what's the plan going into next week?
Well, first and foremost, I think I got to change my profile picture because I think it's the casting curse.
My bad.
last week, well, we all had it. We all had it, and I was like, I'll keep it. I'll see if it's our lucky charm.
It wasn't the lucky charm last week either. I didn't want to bring it up because I feel a little guilty, even though I should.
So so maybe next week I'll change it, and that could be the.
I think you got to go down below. I think maybe Morgie might be the lucky charm on that one.
Maybe we go Morgie. It could be the strat. It could be the way.
But you know what? I won't even be able to see it. I've got an Epic account. I say to Formal all the time. I'm so gutted.
That's even better. That's because now you can choose any picture of Morgie you want, whatever embarrassing facial she makes.
Hey, careful with that
I'll
one.
definitely be doing it. That's for sure.
Oh God. Fair. I won't know why Formal's laughing. He'll be giggling, and I'll have no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
I know now.
No, but actually, I want to looking ahead though to next week. Obviously, your matchup is going to be against Griffith. It's going to be for that not Griffith. Sorry, it's going to be against QUT. It's going to be for that 3rd place spot. How do you feel about that matchup in particular? Confident into that one? A little bit nervous? How do you feel you guys match up?
Honestly, that was similar. That was similar to GU, even like slightly better, I would say. But GU, they played an awesome game. So if QUT do the same thing, it could be a really tough matchup. We just have to show up and just play the game, like not overthink it.
I think
so.
Well, you know what? I will say this. You guys will have the opportunity to play the game next week, okay? The game will be there. Yeah. You'll be able to get out there and play that game. Either way, do have to say goodbye right now again. Consolidation's on the loss, but still looking forward to seeing you guys play next week.
Thank you. Thanks, Paul.
Thank you.
There's Speedy with us right there. And Again, a little bit surprised to see them bow out. I think they're also probably feeling a little bit of that frustration. They weren't able to get it done against a strong Griffith team. But hey, they made it further than the next two teams we're about to see play. It's going to be our third place match from the Open Division. Before we get too much into that, though, our final look at the playoffs from the Elite Series.
Yes, we're going to have a look at it now. And I guess, Formal, some expected, some unexpected. When we were looking towards that first series of the night, it was kind of, I feel like we kind of knew how that one would play out. There was a chance that it wasn't going to be a sweep. I thought QT may do a little bit of damage against UNSW, but nonetheless, UNSW have kept their, I guess, a clean sweep so far in the playoffs, and series-wise, a complete clean slate this entire season. And that second series as well, UON and Griffith, we knew that was going to be a tight one. Going the way of Griffith, though, was not maybe the way we thought. We thought it might go UON's way, but nonetheless was a good series.
It was an exciting series for sure. Obviously, that final 16 seconds will be one that might haunt UON for a bit, but for now, we're getting ready for our third place match in the Open Series. And well, shock and awe, it's the two teams that are at the bottom of the table here in the Elite Series. UOM versus ANU will be a best of 7 to determine that third place spot. And I mean, it's an interesting series, I suppose. UOM, they still are looking for that first win, and against an Elite Series team, this is their last chance to do it.
I think tonight could be the night, Formal. I think I've been saying the entire season that I want to see a UOM win, and this is, I think this is obviously our last opportunity for them to get that win on cast tonight as well, on broadcast. So definitely wanting to see that one, but coming up against ANU, we saw how warm ANU got towards the end of the season. They were doing some damage as a roster. Ultimate Duck, obviously a very mechanical player, probably the star player for this squad. Metis, an excellent support to Ultimate Duck as well, and Hazza coming almost out of nowhere this season to do some damage himself as a solo player as well. This is shaping up to be a really good roster.
That said, though, ANU is playing immediately after a tough loss that they just had against UCID. That one went 6 games, and they came up short, so we'll see how they'll be able to bounce back as well. I will also add this little caveat, too. If ANU wins this series, UOM is the most definitive 8th best collegiate team in OCE I think you could possibly write up. Because they have beaten every team from the Open Series that, wouldn't be in the top 8, and they have fallen short against every other team that would be in the top 8. It would make them the most solidified 8th place team. And I think that's kind of cool.
I do think that's kind of cool, actually. Now come to think of it, looking at it that way, is definitely an interesting view for it as well. But I think this series, it's tricky to say whether it will go the full length Formal. I want it to. I want to see a Game 7 tonight at some point. I'm looking forward to that. And UOM, they do have the potential. They just need to consolidate themselves and keep their consistency throughout the entire series to be able to do that.
Well, we'll see how it plays out. 5 minutes on the clock, and we are officially underway. UOM in blue, ANU in red. We'll see which side comes out on top in this third place matchup. Now, we say this is the Open Series because, well, essentially, the bottom 4 teams from the Elite Series got a quick pass to the top 8 in the Open Series playoffs, and, well, all 4 of them wound up winning that quarterfinal matchup, so no Open Series teams making a deep run this time around. It's how we get this matchup set up right here, and I'm expecting a very chaotic series.
Yeah, chaotic is a great way to put this, obviously, because UOM haven't had, or in the Elite Series, they hadn't had a win throughout the entire season, but ANU, like I said earlier, when we were talking about chaotic teams, this was the team that came behind me. They're just, I don't know how to describe their gameplay, but Ultimate Duck, coming out of nowhere with that shot just then. Like we said before, a very mechanical player. This is the kind of shots we'd expect out.
That's what I mean. You say you don't know how to describe this. I just feel like this has been sort of the Duck show, and I actually would argue that they have one of the more defined attacks, which is let Duck try to create space with an insane mechanical solo play, and then if he can't score, have either Haza or Metis clean it up. Defensively, they've looked very awkward at times. Metis has been the most consistent defensive player of this trio, I would say, to date. Haza's gotten stronger as the series progressed. Meanwhile, when you look at this other side, you know, for me, I never really was able to kind of piece together what UOM style really was. When they get aggressive, they look great, but oftentimes they're forced on their own back foot. They also kind of struggle on the defensive side.
Yeah, but when we look at, like, speaking of kind of Ultimate Duck, the playstyle being that kind of Ultimate Duck push into offense, Ultimate Duck playing that solid first man, and then Medicine has it coming in to clean up the play, it's a hard thing to rely on because you're relying on one player to be playing at their peak. We've seen every team struggle with that. There's not been a single player in this league that I would say is consistent week on week. We've seen members of UNSW have bad weeks as well. So it's definitely throws a bit of a spanner in the works when Duck isn't playing at his best and somebody else has to do something.
Well, fortunately, Duck looks pretty good right now, Morgie. 2 goals already for them, and they were pretty stylish goals as well. The Musty for the first, and then you had that redirect there for the second. Great start for the ANU side, and we'll see if that's going to continue as Haza throws it back over to Duck. And that's what I mean. They're even back passing to Duck, Morgie. That is how much they want to get Duck the ball.
Yeah, someone just take it into the corner. Score some kind of wicked double flip reset, Musty straight into the net. We know he can do it. Hazard and Metis know that as well, and they're ready for it. But yeah, I think so long as Ultimate Duck is playing on point, then especially in this series, I think that's really chances.
Yeah, see if that can continue. I mean, love to see them do well. Virgo wants to get to Galaxy, get maybe some of their own passes going on that UOM side. It's not going to connect just yet. Here comes Duck now. Another beautiful dribble, and Duck on point. 3 goals now.
Already with the hat trick, with only half a game played in this first game of the series, already with a hat trick is a massive feat for Duck as well. I think Metis and Haza have, again, like I said, they've been playing that support role really well. They've been going into demos and bumps and doing whatever they can to clear the net. And it's super unfortunate for UOM right now because I feel like throughout the season they've come up against a lot of teams that have had that really aggressive play style and tried to throw off their rotations. But when they have had a little bit of time and space to work with ball, we know we can see some really good shots out of them.
We'll see what they can bring right here as Le Best Man, or Le Beast Man, I should say. Tries to get a little bit of distance on it. Metis, though, tries to play clean up. Good touch, not quite on its mark. Duck now. Off the side, takes it to the ground, looking for the bump, but doesn't find Virgo.
Super unfortunate there that the passes just aren't quite hitting right now for UOM, but I think it's only a matter of time if they can warm into this series a little bit. And still, like I said, it's a best of 7. There's still plenty of games to come back in these series. I think Galaxy in the past has probably been the man that we would look to kind of control, or not control this team, but to kind of set the play style for this team, to go for some stronger shots as well and put UOM up by a goal or 2. So hopefully we can see a bit of momentum come out of that.
No, Virgo, lob shot, goes wide, Haza stays behind it. Virgo now, up off the roof, ball gonna fall in front of the net, but it's not able to connect. As Galaxy will grab and try to get a more centering touch. Ball falls to the ground, they want to stay underneath it, but they can't go too far with the Metis instead. Could be the one who clears it back up the other way. Still 40 seconds remaining, Metis puts a shot on, Duck pops it up, but isn't able to put it.
Unlucky there that one wasn't going in, but we've got 30 seconds left, Formal. It is a tricky ask to get any team to score 3 goals in 30 seconds, let alone against ANU with how they're playing right now. But Galaxy's going to kick us off. He's going to score 1 and leave 25 seconds left for 2. We've seen it before. We saw it last series, Formal. It's definitely possible.
And Galaxy usually is the catalyst for UM successes. Again, they've never won a series on stream, but they definitely have been able to take games. And Galaxy is usually the name we're calling out when they find that offensive success. It's really strange to me, actually, because I feel like this team should be winning more games. They create opportunities like that, but I don't know. I feel like that entire play was synonymous with kind of their season. They look so good, but they're just never able to finish the job.
Oh, absolutely, and we've said it before, it can be really tricky coming into the Elite Series as the new team, as the new kid on the block. We saw it applied to both UTS and UOM this season, and it's really tricky coming into a league with such established teams. But I think that if they're back next season, we could see a little more progress, and I hope a few more series. But we're already off to a good start for ANU.
Yeah, it is a great start for this ANU side. I mean, that touch right there at the end, absolutely on point, down and in. There we go. So a 3-1 lead for ANU. Takes first game. Do we think UM takes this one to 7? Do we think this is another 7 series, actually? Because I'm kind of playing it through in my head right now, and if ANU is in this form, if Duck is playing like he is right now, I could actually see this more likely being the 4-0 sweep.
I tend to agree, just given how, like we were talking about earlier, just given how reliant ANU is on Ultimate Duck. And Ultimate Duck is obviously, like we said, playing on point today. A hat-trick within half a game just goes to show that. So I think you could be right. I feel like it's more likely we'll see a sweep than a game 7. But hopefully UOM can do a little bit of damage, take a game, maybe get some momentum, take a second. It's definitely possible.
The thing that has me worried, though, is I do believe ANU also is that team, though, with the history of kind of, starting off strong and fading off the more a series progresses. Like, and that's what makes the series so weird for me, because I feel like it's either one or the other, right? Like, ANU has to win 4 in a row, but if they drop one game, I can see them all of a sudden losing 4 in a row right back in the other direction. So if I am ANU, I want to keep that pressure on. I want to keep, making sure we're the team dictating the pace of this series. Although, out of the gate right here in game number 2, it's kind of all UOM favored.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, ANU, they had a rough start to the season. They weren't playing as well as we saw at the end of the season. They were definitely a team that did a lot more damage towards the end of the season. And had they played like that at the start of the season, maybe they would have found themselves in a different position. This game, well, we talked about Chaos earlier. We're seeing Chaos down both ends. No shots sinking despite the amount of shots being taken. Galaxy with the save right on the corner as well. Menace unable to score.
Able to put that one away, but here we go. Duck drops down to Haza, who is going to try to make a play through the corner, and they're going to look to drop it down to Medi's. Challenge is being held up. Was able to put it through at least just yet, as Duck puts a shot on. Sees a pinch in front of the net. Now it's going to start to bring that back up the other way. Galaxy going to try to do what they can. Gets the dunk over the top of Haza. Can't go too much with it there. Still 3:40 to go. This Duck wants for another midfield play. Actually has the pace, has a for it as well. This looks really good for ANU, but there's no one there to finish the goal.
That would have been a beautiful setup. The touch that came off Duck to be able to pass that downfield was a crazy light touch, but just perfect enough to get the ball right onto Haz's nose. But definitely a hard angle to execute for the shooter as well. We're going to see the ball loose near net. Metis not able to beat Virgo in time though. Again, just getting caught in front of net. I feel like we've seen it in UOM's half a little bit more, but just ANU unable to sink a goal this time.
Yeah, and this is what I was kind of getting at before. Like, if the Duck shrivels up, then not the Duck. If Ultimate Duck shrivels up, Haza's going to be the one who steps up and gets a goal. I just threw myself off right now because I remembered the Duck, and I miss seeing the Duck.
That's Chaos playing as well, actually, come to think of it.
Leduc was the king of Chaos, alright?
I tend to agree. He coached me, actually, for a while there, and definitely a great coach, definitely a great player, very, very skilled player as well. Very mechanical. All the Ducks are mechanical.
Okay, now, you know what? Next time I'm speaking to Leduc, I have to ask how much, like, we annoyed him as casters, saying his style was unorthodox and chaotic. Because I imagine he would have a strong opinion on that one.
Oh, I can imagine actually, come to think of it. But, I mean, there's a lot. Sorry to go off topic here. I know, for example, he played without sound, like without... Was it when he went to Worlds, he didn't have sound, he didn't have earphones in? Just worked for him, apparently. I don't think I would struggle without it. I need to hear the demos come.
I don't think they won a game.
Well, just in general, work for his play. Got him to Worlds. got him above a lot of other players in OCE.
Right. That's different. I thought you were saying at Worlds he was still. Yeah, this is really great. I can't hear. If I turn the monitor off as well, you can't even tell we're losing.
I feel like I would struggle with it because I need to hear the demos coming, but yeah, it kind of almost heightens your senses. It makes you more aware of what's on the screen, I guess. Like, have you heard like that? If you dull any of your senses, your other senses heighten. So maybe he's onto something.
I mean, I do cast League of Legends sometimes with the screen muted, and I don't think it helps. Hazard's gonna make it 2-1 though with the goal in the top corner.
ANU looking more dangerous, although not as good as first game, but still looking dangerous, still kind of dominating UOM just that little bit and putting UOM on the back foot, having to force them into a lot of saves. So
it was a good bump from the Beastman as well to help open up that goal.
Yeah, definitely. No, you're not wrong at all there, but
Hazza through the corner, goes right into Virgo, and I mean, this is where ANU wants to be on the attacking half with the 1-point lead. I'm gonna put this one away. Duck. Gonna try to force this one through, but isn't able to take it over the top. Now let's see what Hazza can break back over to Duck. No effort, but he misses!
Oh no! Both Duck and Metis missing that one right there, and the Beastman takes it back down the other and says, "Thank you very much. I'm going to be the one to score." Galaxy with the pass as well. Looked like Galaxy was actually going to score his own goal had the Beastman not come in for that steal there, but either way, UOM starting to warm up a lot.
UOM starting to warm up, and arguments can be made. Maybe that ANU is starting to cool down. The most snake-bitten team, not a moniker that I'm sure they love, but it just seems to be the case so many times where a game will be in control and they'll let it slip. This time, though, Duck retakes the first place position with a nice goal.
Now that you've said Ladok, I can't, I feel like I'm struggling not to say it when I see Duck. I need him to change his name back to Ultimate Duck.
I know,
so it's more than just one syllable separating them. Because I am struggling right now.
The Duck hasn't played in AEL in years, Morgie. It has been
but
long.
He's a friend, so I see his name a lot, and this is struggling now. But again, LaBeast coming in clutch for UOM. Every time ANU scores, UOM is coming back with an equalizer. So it's really good. I feel like game 1 it wasn't looking like it would go to game 7 for me, but it's starting to look a little more.
I don't know. I'm not sure it's a 7-game 7 angle unless ANU wins 3 in a row and then loses the next 4, unless we see a reverse sweep. I feel like the second ANU drops a game, UOM will win the next 3 as well. We're going to see Burgo put a shot towards the net. Here comes Galaxy challenging from the net. Unable to put through, still 30 seconds remaining. Enough time for one more play in regulation, maybe a side each. Ball at the backboard. It's a double commit. Both miss. The entire field is open. Virgo taking their time because Galaxy is blocking but can't find Duck.
Oh, just took a little bit too much time on that one, but yeah, lucky Duck was there to get back in time for that save after the double commit was looking very dangerous for ANU. Maybe UOM now with one more opportunity. Can Virgo score? No, Duck's there in time to get the save. The ball's going to drop and we're going to go to OT.
All right, overtime in this third place match for the Open Series. It does feel not quite the most must-win yet, but it still would be very important, I think, for either team to kind of find this one. As we see Duck trying to force something, but isn't able to go past that midfield line. Matisse makes one defender miss. We're going to try to flick it up for Duck. Asa gets there first off the backboard. It was a double commit. Now Medi's alone. Has to try to use that boost to outpace Virgo. Duck was able to rotate back, so possession held by the ANU side.
That was an insane flick from Metis as well to be able to get that so high over the defenders. Coming in now very, very speedy from the defense to try and keep possession of the ball. Duck with the 50 as well, but gets beaten by Galaxy. Hazard taking it down into the corner. Misses it. Duck missing the shot as well. Oh, this could go either way.
I mean, so far this entire overtime, though, has been dominated by ANU. This is the first time we've really gotten onto the red side of the pitch, and it could be a quick one as Virgo, first opportunity, gets the goal.
You spoke way too soon there. That was... Holy moly, it's like he heard you and said, no, hang on a sec. I'm scoring. I'm going to make sure we get a game off ANU here, and Formal, we have a tied series.
We do. Off of that overtime, UOM, though, gets the momentum back. And I mean, interesting series, because a lot of it was UOM kind of playing catch-up and responding to ANU. In overtime, though, they finally get that go-ahead goal, and now I'm actually worried for the future of ANU. This is exactly where I feel UOM can now take the series over. I would not be surprised if we see this one end in 5.
Yeah, you're not wrong. I mean, in that game there, Hazza seemed to be the dominant player. He has the most goals on the board, has the most saves as well. Duck
Also has the most double commits. Yes.
True, but looking at the shots, Formal, Duck had 7 shots. That's more than Medicine has a combined. But combined, they had 4 shots. Duck had 7, and just nothing seemed to sink other than that one. Was not the shooting percentage we saw out of Duck in the first game.
But I got to go back to what I was saying, though, about the double commits. The big problem is they weren't really playing cleanup efficiently. There was a lot of double commits from Hazza, either committing with Duck on the shots or committing with Metis on the cleanup. They never had the whole 1-2-3 going, and it was even more egregious on the defensive side. So I'm not saying all the double commits were Hazza's fault, but Hazza was involved in all of them.
I think you're right. Potentially, maybe a little bit of overconfidence as well after getting a couple of really nice shots. Just wanted to kind of keep that momentum, keep that pace. You know, if 2 shots sink, surely the next 2 will. But you got to be wary of double commits, like you're saying. Obviously, put your team in a really bad position defensively if your rotations aren't.
Okay, I gotta do my One American Sports reference here, but it's like as Virgo is gonna put a goal in from the middle of the field, just finding the gap, push it through. But it's trusting the process and trusting your play style. It's a term that you kind of hear in baseball with like a batter's swing motion. And I want to take that through into a rotation. You got to trust in the rotation that people are going to do what they have to do, and eventually the opportunity will open itself if you don't force it, but just stick to the fundamentals. The opportunities will come, and that's just not something ANU was doing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They weren't trusting the process.
Absolutely. I mean, speaking of trust, I feel like the reason Virgo got that goal just then was because he had 0 trust in Hazard getting the double touch redirect off the sidewall. I feel like that was a really, I'm not saying that we haven't seen Hazard hit those touches, we've seen plenty, but I feel like Virgo not trusting that was definitely the right thing.
Here we go, more pressure through the corner. Demos left, right, and center. Ball eventually makes his way to that midfield line. Going back towards the backboard, Duck's going to collect. Just keep things going. Underneath, there's a shot from Metis to the backboard. And oh! There's another double commit, costing a lot of attacking pressure there, Morgie.
Double commit after double commit. We've seen so many lately, Formal, that it's starting to become the regular play in this series, but nonetheless, Duck there, the Beastman with just an awkward touch, soft touch, kind of passes it to Duck and gives him an open shot at net.
Now that was a nice little goal right there, and it's going to make this one 1-1. Continue along, kickoff. It's pretty good for Hazza right now, as they're going to try to make the read up through the corner to the backboard. Second touch, no, not there, but the follow-up is, and that's the kind of follow-up play that you want to see if you're rooting for ANU.
Yeah, that's the cleanup we're usually expecting out of both Metis and Hazza. Instead, not Duck taking the initial shot, not Duck being the first man there, but Hazza and Metis ready for the cleanup no matter who takes the shot is exactly what ANU needs.
And we'll see if they can keep adding to it, although right now it is UOM. Trying to look to get the initial pressure off the kickoff. Metis, though, finds that nice clear, ducks forward, but Galaxy's going to catch it now from underneath. Metis actually gets stuck on a little bit by Galaxy. Ball up for grabs, middle of the field. Who gets there first? It's going to be Virgo, who wins out on the 50. Galaxy from underneath won't challenge Duck, however. At least not straight away. Lets Duck go across the middle of the field.
Well, tell me, I feel like our first game, obviously, we were talking about how important Duck is to this side, and obviously with the hat-trick within 2 minutes something in the first game, was definitely that player, but this game and last game, Duck has been a lot more quiet. The shots have just not been sinking. Is there anything in particular you see wrong? Is it UOM putting more defensive pressure on ANU or probably on Duck? Or is it just bad luck that they're not sinking?
I mean, I think that plays the best example of it. It kind of is the more recurring thing that happens. Duck is eating 2 attackers or 3 attackers every time they push forward, and it's creating the opportunities for the other players to sign. Like, you're saying Duck hasn't had that impact, yet I'm still seeing a 3-1 lead. I'm seeing Hazza scoring off of, you know, setups coming from Duck situations. Not to mention Duck also got that goal earlier as well, so... Again, I think it's just the case of the playstyle. Duck can still be the most impactful player without necessarily putting the most impactful.
True. I just feel like it's a little bit more evenly spread now. Its offensive pressure is coming off all 3 players as opposed to, you know, relying on Duck not just to carry it upfield and to set up the play, but to score the shot as well, and the other 2 to just be there in case it misses. I feel like it's more of a team play now.
Exactly, and that's the look that they should have. It should be the 3-prong effort. Duck is just an incredibly strong first member as... Alright, demo save. That was the riskiest approach ever, but it had to be done to stop the goal. Still 100 seconds left in this game, but ANU, they're in a prime position to go up 2-1 in this series.
That was the craziest save. I completely missed who that was from UOM side, but I was just like, oh, sure, this is an easy goal. This is a score for UOM, and then Duck just came out of nowhere with the demo, hits the ball onto the backboard, and somehow manages to keep it within possession. So, yeah, props in defense as well.
Yeah, it's pretty big, and if they're going to keep with it, still a minute 10 remaining as Hazza actually can't keep with it. It's going to be Galaxy with a chance, but doesn't have the speed to outpace Hazza. Save once again does come through. So with a minute remaining, looking very good ANU. They've done a lot better job this game in controlling it. Still, there's been chances, though, for UOM. If they can put something in off this attack, maybe, just maybe, they can put together the comeback.
Still plenty of time, still 40 seconds, still doable, absolutely, but in order for UOM to do that, ANU would really need to take the foot off the acceleration. They need to take the foot off the gas and give UOM a little room to breathe, which they're definitely not doing right now. They're putting on so much pressure, and ultimately I think we're going to see another goal out of ANU if anything.
If that comes together, 20 seconds still left on the clock. Gonna see Duck get a nice little demo. Hazza, let that one roll back. Seconds remaining, out through the corner. Here comes the shot, it's on target, but it's not gonna go in. That save saves the game. Metis gets credit, and it's gonna be ANU taking game 3.
Great save from Metis there. Perfect timing to get the touch on that one. It was definitely very speedy. It had a lot of power and very well could have gone the way of UOM there, but we're going to see this game go the way of ANU instead, and they're going to take the lead.
Look at that. To emphasize your point from before, 1 goal on all 3 members of ANU in this game.
Yep.
Only 2 of them got assists, though. Metis doesn't get the assist, but got the save to equalize it out with the crew. Really strong showing from ANU, back in control of the series, but if this is another one of those series, expect UOM and expect Galaxy in particular, as well as the Beastman actually, to come back swing in game number 4.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like in this kind of middle part of the series, we're seeing the pressure spread across all members of both sides. We're seeing all members of both teams, you know, putting pressure on it in offense, putting pressure on in defense. They're all getting saves, they're all getting assists, they're all getting goals. There's no one standout player, I feel like, from UOM right now. Sure, we're talking about Duck as that standout player from ANU, but it's definitely more even among both teams.
It has been, and maybe that's the success that ANU needs to put this series away. Game 4, though, kicking off right now. How will UOM respond? Who are we going to look at to be that catalyst? As we see a double commit coming from UOM initially. Opens up a doorway for Duck. A lot of space. Going to go for the late touch, and it sets up Betty so nicely. 1-0 lead.
That was perfect. Just the off the roof here, the shot went just that tiny bit too wide. Galaxy almost got the save as well anyway, but Metis just following so closely as that really tight second man, just in case Duck missed that, resulted in a goal for ANU.
Yeah, that was so clean, and if that is sort of the tempo that's going to be set by ANU in this 4th game, UOM could be in a lot of trouble here. They're on the attack, but it's going to be a brief one. Duck leads the charge once again for ANU. Went for I'm not even sure what was that was right there. I don't know if that was a wave dash or something I've never seen before. It didn't work out, though. Pressure back in favor of the UOM side.
I thought that was surely a shot for UOM as well, but Duck came out of nowhere off the sidewall, flew in and got a save. Make sure UOM was not scoring there. Metis as well getting a staggering amount of 50s in the midfield, just not letting UOM have too much possession of the ball. Looking like he kind of cut Metis there a little bit, but came in. Toms, I guess, made sure they didn't double commit there, but the ball's just stuck down UOM's side.
And now we're going to see the deep clear back to the other side as well. Haza lets that one ride! Oh, I don't know how UOM wasn't able to find that. And now with a big pitch from Haza, ball's going to waterfall right down in front of the net. Duck makes it 2-0.
No way, I thought that pinch was going to go in as well. That would have been the craziest shot, but nonetheless, what a read out of Duck. That is a tricky read. With the speed that ball had going off the backboard at that angle, that is not an easy shot to make.
An easy shot, yet there it goes. 2-0 lead now in favor of ANU. Looking to try and put themselves into a very, very obtainable match point with a 3-game cushion, should they be able to take this one out. And UOM feel a bit more of that pressure from it. Shots on! Metis with a snipe! Slices through the defense, 3-0 lead.
You know what I think it is, Formal? You know what I think they're doing differently today? I think it's the car buff. I feel like it's usually only Duck. Have we seen Metis and Haza copy Duck before?
No, we have not.
It's a special for today. It's their playoff special. I feel like it's doing them wonders. Maybe it's the hitbox on the car or something, but it's just
the hybrid
special
hitbox
tonight. Wild.
Hybrid hitbox coming up big, it seems. You know what? Like, again, though, there is some truth that maybe not necessarily the hitbox, but the mentality, right? We always drone on about Rocket League is such a mental game, but if you're coming in doing something fun, like, you know, the 3 Vipers or 3 hybrid hitboxes, it puts you in a good spot. And then Duck tries to go for whatever shot that was.
No, I do tend to agree, even if it's just like a decal or something, or it's something to make your team feel more solidified, I guess. It makes you feel like you're more a part of a team as well. It can definitely play into that mental factor.
So if toppers were mandatory, what kind of toppers would we see as Virgo forces that one off the defender to make it 3-1?
What kind of toppers would we see? Oh, that's tricky. I feel like we'd see the cowboy hat a lot. Like that one would come out in force for sure, because it's just so big and obnoxious. Like I feel like that would throw off a lot of players.
I don't know if you would see that at top level though, if it was mandatory. Like, unless you have a real good understanding of where your hitbox is, doesn't that one get in the way?
Yeah, I mean, okay, at a top level, maybe like an RLCS level, if it was mandatory, we'd probably see something small and insignificant so that it doesn't get in the way. But I reckon League would see a lot of cowboy hats just because it's such a...
It is the biggest meme. 4-1 lead though. Quick response, and it does look like game number 4 getting further and further out of reach for UOM. ANU controlling this game, controlling this series now. See if they can keep it up though. This team has a tendency to break your heart the moment you start to believe in them. Always makes you nervous.
I don't know, they seem to have found their groove, and I mean, yeah, historically speaking, what do you call them all? The snake-bitten team.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such a reputation that they unfortunately have earned themselves, but I don't know, I'm starting to feel it. I feel like they've got a groove right now. They're starting to really fall into place as a team. They've got the momentum. They're gelling really well right now. And UOM just don't know what to do about it.
So I've seen Duck do it twice now, so it's definitely intentional, but that wave dash where he's like turning at the same time, that is not something I see almost ever, it feels like.
Actually, you're not wrong, and yeah, you're right, it would be on purpose, it would be consistent if we're seeing it a lot this series. I'll have to keep an eye out from now on. But Virgo scoring a shot for UOM, wanting to keep the series, wanting to keep this game a little tighter. There's still plenty of time. 2 more goals would cause an equalizer and take us into OT, but they need to put the pressure on now.
Yeah, that they do. They need to find a quick goal, I feel like, to give themselves that best chance. Granted, as we saw before, sometimes all you need is 16 seconds, but the more time, the better. Pressure on. See what happens. Big bump from the Beast Man. Ball's going to fall in front of the net. Where's the shot? It's not there. In fact, it's going back the other way.
Yeah, the bombs are definitely playing well into the tactics right now for both sides. I feel like UOM could maybe take a little bit more advantage of bumps and demos and throw ANU off. I think it would definitely damage their mental if they were facing the aggressive play that they usually put on themselves. But we're going down to 30 seconds now for 2 goals is looking less and less likely. And if ANU keep this up, it may look like they run out.
See if they can piece it together. As it is currently ANU with the attacking pressure as well. A goal here would ice it. Duck isn't able to force it through, however. We need the quick clear from Melbourne. They do find the pass. They're going to find the shot as well. In 11 seconds, 1 goal's required.
We've seen it done. We've seen it done time and time again. We've seen it done tonight. But Galaxy just a clean touch off Burgo's pass down there to secure another goal for UOM. ANU probably stressing a little bit right now, probably thinking they need to be careful and pass the pass and make sure they get this game win. And it's looking more and more likely as the ball goes down there, and UOM running out of time. A miss as well takes out the entire roster. I don't know if that was tactical or not, Paul. I'm going to call it tactical and say that was perfect to throw UOM off and make sure they didn't take possession back down the other end.
Now you got to call that intentional, right? Because it worked.
Yep. 100%. Definitely what was meant to happen.
Very interesting game for sure, though. Duck back on point. Metis right there with them. Even Hazza got involved a few times, but the big difference right there, look at the shot down again. And you just dominated the possession for the entire first 3 minutes of that game. They got their points that they needed, and then walking away with that win. So now, match point for ANU, a chance to secure 7th place overall. I would say 3rd place in the Open Series. We'll see what UOM can do, though, if they can start to bring it back. If there's any team that can give up a lead like this, it would be ANU.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I think they've got to lock in now and make sure they don't do that. But yeah, wow, 13 shots to 7 last game. I mean, the goal differential, it was only 1 goal differential, so technically UOM had the better shooting percentage when you actually think about it. But I'm usually a quality over quantity girl. I think that getting some really nice shots and some unexpected shots are more the go. And ANU, obviously, they have had some really great shots, but the sheer amount of shots they're putting on net at the moment, the quantity is really playing in their favor.
Normally I am a quality over quantity, but again, it's just the odds and percentages. I do feel like the rapid fire, constant shooting pressure approach will eventually bear fruit. So sometimes I do kind of like quantity to an equal amount as quality in Rocket League. Ideally, you get both, right? That's the dream situation.
I feel like... Oh, sorry, you go.
Oh no, every shot, just imagine 20 shots all perfect.
Wouldn't that be the dream? Wouldn't that be the dream of every RLCS player? But
yep.
I think it's tricky to say because quantity over quality would not work on every side. I feel like no matter how many shots, if either of these teams were playing WinSW right now, no matter how many shots they take, WinSW are saving most, if not all of those. But when you come to the, I don't want to say lower ranked teams, but the less experienced teams who don't know quite yet how to rotate efficiently and effectively every single time, quantity really cannot.
Well, here we go. Pressure being put on right now by the team who's been showing more quantity and quality. And you, though, not able to convert into a goal just yet. Hazza will have to play off that backboard, makes one attacker miss, but the second one does not. Save on the line. No third shot immediately there, so the defense will recover and make another timely save.
Definitely getting a little bit nervous for ANU here. They are looking a little bit daunting in net. Metis, no boost, could not have gone up for that one, but Duck there in time. No matter what though, they both got pushed out of net, both rotating out. Duck trying to get past the Beastman there, who managed to take the ball off him and set Galaxy up for the shot.
Yeah, through the corner and in the net, 1-0 lead right now. Really well done from the blue side, and this is what I mean. UOM, they're certainly not done. Despite being down 3-1 in this series, they've already got a 2-0 lead.
No, they are not done. Not yet. They are still wanting to stay alive in this. They could still potentially win this. It is definitely not over yet, and beginning the game like this is definitely a good start.
A really, really, really good start. And we'll see if they can keep that going again. They still need to win 3 in a row. They still haven't even won this game just yet. 2 goals, 2.5 minutes. It's definitely doable. Metis looks for the first and gets it just before the halfway point.
That was a beautiful pass from Duck as well. As we said, when Duck's shots aren't sinking necessarily, he's still there with the assists, still there with the saves. Hazza hanging around as well in case things went wrong, picking up as a high third man as well. Was definitely the play there, but what a great pass from Duck. What a shot from Metis.
Yeah, that was really well done. Now Galaxy try to set something up off that backboard, isn't able to drop it in just yet, so we go back to the corner ball. Gets centered one more time. Metis looking to chase with it. Through the corner as well. Has one underneath. It's Hazza. Nope. Jumps up for a double commit. I'm not sure about that one. Duck drops it back down. Hazza. It's a bump on the Beastman, but that's it. Here we go. 1v1. Metis makes the save. Metis gets the bump. Metis nearly turns it into a shot as well.
Metis has been so clinical in defense. I feel like we've seen, I know we talk about Duck in offense and, you know, Metis and Hazza being the support players, but I feel like Hazza does attempt offensive plays a little bit more than Metis, and Metis is always back as that third man in defense in case anything goes wrong. But man of the match, our offensive, excellent first man player, Duck, coming in with another goal for ANU to equalize this game.
Yeah, that was a fantastic little goal right there. So we're tied one more time, 100 seconds remaining. I wouldn't say a win here would get rid of the Snake Bitten mantra and curse, but it would definitely help if they're able to put this one away. As Metis misses, here comes Le Beastman. Duck is able to get there though, pushing it forward up to Metis, back through the side. Here we go. Touch off the backboard. Metis eyeing it up. Oh no, okay, Duck wanted to make that next touch, and it backfires spectacularly! Goal goes back over to UOM.
Oh no, ANU just then, I think it just seems like way too many passes back and forth. It went 1, 2, 3, then back to Duck, tried to pass it back down to Metis again. There were just too many passes, the ball going a little bit loose and just not controlled by ANU well enough to be able to capitalize on it. UOM though, just taking it back down the other end.
Want to put this game away here. They need to get that equalizer. They'll have just over a minute to do it. Hasn't quite do it on the kickoff, but might get another attempt now. Straight across. Duck's pass gets intercepted. Now Metis gets past one. He's going to try to force it underneath the second. Le Beastman, despite the free jump, still makes contact with the ball, and the defense holds one more time.
Yeah, Metis going in for that one with no boost was definitely tricky with the defenders. Kind of just sat in net on that one. Hazza though collects the full boost. Virgo there trying to cause a bit of a ruckus though and not let him get away with the ball for free. Taking it into the corner as well. Oh my god, Leduc going for a shot on a wide angle there, but this goes a bit too wide.
Hazza will be the one who collects, and now he's going to try to drive that one straight back up the other way. Gets the bump, sets up Duck, but Duck's not going straight, going to the corner instead. Burns all their boost as well. So we'll see if Duck can get involved back in the play quickly. Virgo's going to take it to the middle of the field, finds Le Beastman. Hazza's going to have to make a save on the line. Never mind, it's Duck who gets past two. It's a 3v1 Galaxy. What have you got? You pumped, and we're tied 3-all.
The air dribble bomb coming in clutch right at the end of this game. Both Hazza and Meta unable to get to Galaxy in time to bump him, so Duck just goes, I'll do it myself. Sets up the ball, goes to the bump instead, and manages to equalize. I thought this was definitely going to be UOM's game, but I think we're going to be fighting for OT now, Formal.
Unless Le Beastman pops it up, Virgo is there. Metis is going to try to keep play. Hazza gets demoed, and we go to an overtime. I mean, oh, this is a risky one, though. It still feels UOM can take it. In fact, this shot looks good, but Metis is still there for the save.
That was crazy, Formal. I feel like this is just going to be a repeat of last series. I hope not for UOM's sake. I want to see them take another game, but that was all. I mean, it almost went their way right on the last second there. I feel like all that went through Hazza's head was drop the ball, drop the ball, drop the ball. But we're going to go into OT with a bit more time now.
We'll AOC as the ball gets cleared all the way to that opposite corner. Hassa underneath is going to pop that one up. Let's see what Matisse can do. Actually cuts off Hassa, but no, it's a fake. Leaves it for them. Water falls down. Where is Duck? Duck not there. Duck is playing midfield. Now pushes forward. Ball again in front of the net. Here's the shot. Galaxy's there for the save. UOM, desperate touches to keep themselves alive in this series. Do they finally get a chance to go on the attack? Well, maybe, because Duck's out of boost and Burgo is there.
Duck may be doing the right thing there and playing back in third man, which is not the position we usually see him in, but maybe recognizing the sheer amount of double we have had tonight, just wanting to play it safe, wanting to make sure they can get the final goal to lock in this game, and we're going to see it from the player himself, from the man of the match, Ultimate Duck, with a crazy shot here, getting the 50 over the Beastman straight past Galaxy as well, to take out this game and to take out this series.
Well done to them right through, getting that 3rd place in the Open Series, 7th place overall. UOM, the definitive 8th place team. I'll be a little bit disappointed, I think, with how that one came down. They definitely fought valiantly, as they always seem to do. Again, this UOM team, like, they were the least convincing, definitely 8th place team I think I've seen, because it always feels like this could be that series they win it, but they're just never able to make it work.
Yeah, we did have a few close ones throughout the regular series, and again, I feel like I said it every night, but I was just hoping tonight was the night. I was wanting it really badly, and it's super unfortunate that we do not get to see a win for them on stream, but there's always next season. And obviously, massive congratulations to ANU for that one as well. They played really, really well and definitely deserve the win there.
Yeah, that they did. They will come out on top, and as per usual, we are getting an interview set up. We'll have a word from Metis in just a few moments about that series, so hopefully it won't take too long until we get to them. But, I mean, looking for the future for ANU right now, I just, like, what is missing from both these teams? I think the question could be asked to get them to that next level, Morgie.
Training. Hours in the game. We heard it from Griffith earlier. Like I said, Griffith played out of their minds earlier and definitely deserved that second spot in the grand final. And they deserve it for a reason, because they've been putting time into scrims, they've been putting time into training, and yes, I've said it, it's hard for university students, but you could be the best player in the world. You're not going to gel with your teammates unless you build that routine and that consistency, and that is done through training.
If I'm the best player in the world, I just do it all myself. I'll play 1v3 every game. Either way, we have got Metis now on the line and on camera here for an interview. Congratulations on your win. 3rd place in the Open Series. Maybe not the final result you were looking for, but you have to be happy you were at least able to hold on to that 7th place.
Yeah. I mean, it's a good result. I think if we look back at the season, I think we potentially could have gotten a better result. But I think for the run that we've had here in the Open Series, it's been good, and we've had good results, and especially against Melbourne, they're a good side, and we went to 5 I think during the regular elite season. So then to beat them, I mean, it wasn't a sweep, but we played a lot better against them. So, that was good to see the improvement.
Yeah, for sure. You guys, you had a rough start to the season for sure, with a few losses there, but you definitely warmed up towards the end of the season. Saw a lot of dangerous play from you guys towards the end of the season as well. So it felt like you really warmed into the tournament. And again, just by your showing today, you definitely deserve the win. UOM though, they did play really well, so congrats to them as well. In that game that you guys did lose, what do you think went wrong there?
In the UCID one?
Against UOM, sorry.
Oh, we didn't lose. We won that series, but
in the game you lost against them.
Today, I think we just lost focus. I think we started to feel a little bit too comfortable in the series, and at that point, we kind of dropped away from the way we were playing Rocket League, and I think that played a part in losing that game, and then we kind of refocused later on, and got the win.
All right, so word on the grapevine, have to bring it up. Congratulations, graduating this semester. Moving on, this is your last season playing for AEL Elite Series. You did end on a win, that feels pretty good, but knowing that this was it for you, reflecting on AEL, how does it make you feel as a player? Reflecting as a player, not as a caster.
I mean, I think it's been pretty fun as a player. I've also been the Rocket League kind of committee member, running all the Rocket League stuff at ANU as well. So that's been exciting, and getting to meet a lot of people around ANU that play Rocket League is pretty cool. And we've the last kind of, I guess, year and a half I've been playing on this team. We've had some good runs. I think give us another season potentially. Like you see, we make these like game 5 runs and we get so close. So I feel like this is a team that next year will be so good, and it's been really fun playing with them. And I know that potentially we have a reasonably decent player coming to replace me at some point next year. So fingers crossed that happens. So this team could be a team to look out for next year.
Oh, well, we'll definitely be excited to see that. Do you think you're going to be keeping a close eye on the team as well, or keeping an eye on the ANU side?
Yeah, I'll check in on the streams every once in a while. See how we're going. Because it'd be nice, if my boys can get some wins. That's always exciting, and we can make better runs every single year and consecutively improve. That'd be awesome to see.
All right, I'm going to hijack this interview for a personal question right now, okay, that no one cares about except for me, but I'm still going to ask it. Who's winning the World Series now that the Padres are out?
I'm conflicted. I like the Dodgers, BK. I very much like the Dodgers. But I'm tempted to see a Subway Series. Like, I hate both New York teams as someone from Boston, so it'd be a hate fest. But watching all the New York teams play against each other, I mean, they literally walk 10 meters down the road to play each other. It'd be kind of funny to me, like all of New York going crazy. I think that's pretty exciting. But I mean, I think LA Mets is, or LA Yankees, I think is the setup I'd want to see.
Okay. I mean, I think the dream World Series of Detroit versus San Diego died in the last round, so it's what it is. Look, again, last time speaking to you from the perspective of a player, last time speaking to you as that Rocket League member for ANU, is there anyone who you'd like to thank, any shout-outs in specifically you'd like to make?
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to thank, Doc for picking me up. He was the captain of the elite team for a bit, and he picked me up originally as the sub, and then I snuck onto the team slowly. So that's always awesome. Hazza, has been a really great teammate. This season, Shelby has come in clutch. He's played some really good games. I mean, he beat Macquarie, which last season, which arguably was the best team in the league, and really awesome to have him around. BK has been great to work with behind the scenes to get games happening and putting things together. And all the other university teams that we've played against have been really awesome. Getting scrims occasionally against them and getting to meet other players that are also in university has been really good. So yeah, big shout out to everyone, I guess, involved in the AL scene, and obviously a big shout out to you guys, and also Angry Man who's in the background for putting together the production and the stream. And it's always very exciting to watch back the stream and see what people say about your gameplay, positive things and negative things. So
you know what? I'd like to think at the start of the season it was all negative, at least for me, and then it turned to all positive at the end. Either way, it's been great having you, and good luck on your future endeavors, man.
Thank you. Thanks, Max. Thanks,
Dennis.
Yeah, normally I always like to trash other casters when they play, but Metis proved me wrong too many times that I couldn't do it consistently anymore. I had to start giving the compliments. Is what it is. Look, that's gonna do us for today. Obviously, next week, it's the big week, the grand finals week, both in the Open and in the Elite Series. You're going to want to see that. And you know who's coming with us, Morgie? Our sponsors.
Of course. We wouldn't be able to do any of this without our sponsors. This is an incredible league. Really, really thankful to be a part of it as a caster, and I'm sure all the players are really, really grateful for the league as well and the opportunities it provides them. None of it would be possible without our two sponsors. First of all, we have AGON by AOC, the gaming monitor partner, who provide the best in-class solutions in-class monitor solutions for gaming and all other needs. And of course, our second sponsor, we have Indomie the Noodle Partner, made with high-quality flour and select ingredients and spices. A plate of Indomie mee goreng will certainly brighten up your day. Try any one of the flavors available today from your local grocer, or of course, you can just head on over to indomie.com.au.
And of course, also do make sure to follow AEL on all of their socials as well, the Facebooks, the Twitters, the Instagrams, to stay up to date on all upcoming live events and online events here through AEL. Look, it's been another great day. Medi's already thanked everyone behind the scenes. I'll thank Angry Man again, but I won't thank not going to thank BK again. He's a dirty Dodgers fan. Thank you all, too, for coming in and joining and watching along. We will see you next week. Good night, everybody.